Religion has been a part of humanity since the beginning of time. It's something that has always been with us, shaping who we are and how we see the world. Imagine a time when the earth was young, and people looked up at the stars, wondering what was out there. They felt a connection to something greater than themselves, something that gave life meaning and purpose. This feeling, this connection, became the seed of what we know as religion. Religion is more than just rituals and prayers. It's the heartbeat of a culture, the soul of a people. It speaks to the deepest parts of our being, offering comfort in times of sorrow, hope in times of despair, and a sense of belonging when the world feels too big. It's a way to understand the mysteries of life, the wonders of the universe, and the questions that keep us awake at night. Religion gives us stories that explain where we come from, why we are here, and what happens after we are gone. Throughout history, people have turned to religion to find answers to the questions that haunt them. Who created the world? Why do we suffer? What is the purpose of life? These questions are as old as humanity itself, and religion has been the guide that helps us find our way. It's not just about understanding the world around us, it's about understanding ourselves. Religion helps us connect with our inner selves, with others, and with the divine. The oldest religions of the world were born out of this deep need to understand, to connect, and to find meaning. These ancient beliefs were the foundation upon which entire civilizations were built. They weren't written down in holy books or taught in temples. They were passed down from generation to generation, whispered around campfires, and carved into the stones of sacred sites. These early religions were as much a part of the people who practiced them as their own breath. These ancient beliefs were not about strict doctrines or rigid rules. They were fluid, evolving with the people who practiced them. They were about the natural world, the seasons, the animals, and the spirits that inhabited every part of life. The oldest religions were deeply connected to the earth, to the cycles of nature, and to the rhythms of life. They taught people to respect the world around them, to honor the spirits of their ancestors, and to live in harmony with the forces of nature. The oldest religion is not one that can be pinpointed to a single place or time. It is not a single belief system, but a collection of beliefs that have been passed down through the ages. These beliefs are as old as humanity itself, born out of our shared need to find meaning in a world that can be both beautiful and terrifying. The oldest religion is the one that has no name, no holy book, no prophets. It is the religion of our ancestors, the one that taught us to look to the stars for guidance, to seek the wisdom of the elders, and to find the sacred in the everyday. These ancient beliefs were shaped by the land, the climate, and the needs of the people who lived in those early times. In some places, the sun was worshipped as the giver of life, while in others, the moon was revered as the guardian of the night. Rivers, mountains, and forests were seen as the dwelling places of spirits, and animals were believed to possess their own souls. The world was alive with the presence of the divine, and everything was connected. The significance of these early religions cannot be overstated. They were the foundation of the first human societies, influencing everything from law and governance to art and architecture. They were the glue that held communities together, providing a sense of identity and belonging. Through rituals, ceremonies, and myths, these ancient beliefs helped people make sense of the world around them and find their place in it. The oldest religion is not a relic of the past, it is a living thread that connects us to our ancestors. It is the whisper of the wind in the trees, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the feeling of awe we experience when we stand before a mountain or gaze up at the stars. It is the reminder that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves, that we are connected to the earth, to each other, and to the divine. These early religions may seem distant from the complex belief systems we see today, but they are not so different. At their core, they are about the same things: finding meaning, seeking connection, and understanding the mysteries of life. They remind us that we are not alone, that we are part of a greater whole, and that there is something sacred in every part of life. Religion is not just something that happens in churches, temples, or mosques. It is something that happens in our hearts, in the quiet moments when we feel a sense of wonder, gratitude, or peace. It is in the way we treat others, the way we care for the earth, and the way we live our lives. The oldest religion is the one that teaches us to love, to respect, and to cherish the world around us. The origins of religion are not something that can be easily explained or understood. They are as mysterious as the night sky, as ancient as the mountains, and as timeless as the sea. But they are also as close as our own breath, as familiar as the warmth of the sun, and as simple as the love we feel for those we care about. Religion is not just a part of our history, it is a part of who we are. It is the story of humanity's quest to find meaning, to connect with the divine, and to understand the mysteries of life. There was a time long ago when the world was vast and mysterious, and the people who lived in it were surrounded by the unknown. They didn't have the science or technology that we have today. All they had was their senses, their instincts, and a deep connection to the world around them. Every rustle in the leaves, every whisper of the wind, every crack of thunder held meaning. These early humans felt something more in the world, something they couldn't see or touch, but could feel deep in their souls. It was in these moments, beneath the endless sky and among the shadows of the ancient forests, that the first spark of spirituality was born. People began to see the world not just as a place to survive, but as a place filled with spirits, with life, with meaning. The trees, the rivers, the animals, and the stars were not just things, they were alive, filled with a presence that demanded respect and reverence. This belief, that everything in the world had a spirit, became the heart of their spirituality. It was a belief that everything was connected, that the world was not just a collection of objects, but a living, breathing entity filled with countless spirits, each with its own purpose and power. In these ancient times, the world was a place of wonder and fear, a place where the line between the seen and unseen was blurred. The people believed that the spirits could help them or harm them, depending on how they were treated. They honored these spirits with rituals, with offerings, with dances, and with songs. These rituals were not just a way to ask for favors or protection, they were a way to connect with the world around them, to feel a part of something greater than themselves. Shamans emerged as the bridge between the people and the spirits, as those who could communicate with the unseen world. They were not just healers or leaders, they were the ones who could walk between worlds, who could see what others could not. The shaman was the keeper of the tribe's spiritual knowledge, the one who could interpret dreams, heal the sick, and guide the spirits of the dead to the other side. To the people, the shaman was a figure of awe and reverence, someone who had a special connection with the spirits and who could bring their wisdom to the tribe. The shaman's rituals were filled with symbolism, with meaning that spoke to the very core of human existence. They would enter trances, often aided by the rhythm of drums, the smoke of sacred herbs, or the dance of firelight, and travel to the spirit world. In these trances, they would seek guidance, answers, and healing. The spirits they encountered were often animal spirits, believed to be the ancestors or guides of the people. These spirits were seen as powerful beings who could influence the world of the living, and the shaman was the one who could communicate with them, who could bring their messages to the people. Animism, the belief that everything has a spirit, was the foundation of this spirituality. It was a belief that the world was alive, that the mountains, the rivers, the trees, and the animals were not just objects, but beings with souls. The people saw themselves as part of this world, not separate from it. They believed that by honoring the spirits of the world, they could live in harmony with it. This belief shaped every aspect of their lives, from the way they hunted and gathered to the way they built their homes and raised their children. This spirituality was not just about survival, it was about connection, about feeling a part of the world around them. It was about respect, about understanding that every action had a consequence, not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual one as well. The people believed that by living in harmony with the spirits, they could ensure the well-being of their tribe, their land, and their future. They saw the world as a sacred place, filled with wonder and mystery, and they honored that with every breath they took. The dawn of spirituality in prehistoric times was not just the beginning of religion, it was the beginning of humanity's search for meaning, for understanding, for connection. It was a time when the world was filled with magic, with spirits that danced in the firelight, that whispered in the wind, that lived in the shadows of the forests. It was a time when the people saw the world not just with their eyes, but with their hearts, when they felt the presence of something greater than themselves in every part of their lives. These early spiritual beliefs were not just about explaining the world, they were about feeling a part of it, about finding one's place in the grand tapestry of life. They were about the awe and wonder that comes from standing under a star-filled sky, from hearing the call of a distant animal, from feeling the earth beneath one's feet. They were about the connection between the seen and the unseen, the living and the spirit, the earth and the sky. The dawn of spirituality in prehistoric times was a time of beginnings, of first steps on a path that would lead to the religions of today. It was a time when humanity first began to reach out to the unseen, to the spirits that they believed filled the world. It was a time when they first began to find meaning in the mysteries of life, when they first began to feel the presence of the divine in the world around them. In these early days, spirituality was not something that was separate from life, it was life itself. It was in the way the people hunted, the way they gathered, the way they built their homes, the way they raised their children. It was in the way they honored the spirits, the way they sought the guidance of the shaman, the way they connected with the world around them. It was a time when the world was filled with spirits, with meaning, with life, and when humanity first began to understand that they were a part of something much greater than themselves. There was a time when the world felt enormous, when the sky stretched endlessly above, and the earth was a living, breathing entity. In those days, every sunrise was a miracle, every storm a sign, and every whisper of the wind carried the voice of something greater than any human. Early humans looked out at the world with wide eyes, full of awe and wonder. They saw the sun rise each morning, bathing the land in warmth and light, and they believed it was a god smiling down on them. They watched the moon wax and wane, its silver light guiding them through the night, and they felt it was a gentle spirit watching over them. The earth beneath their feet, solid and enduring, was more than just a place to stand. It was a mother, a source of life and sustenance. To these early people, the natural world was not just a backdrop to their lives, it was alive, filled with spirits and forces that moved and breathed just as they did. The sun was not just a ball of fire in the sky, it was a powerful being that gave life to everything it touched. When the sun rose in the morning, it was as if the world was born anew, as if the darkness of the night had been banished by a force too strong to resist. They felt the sun's warmth on their skin and knew it was a blessing, a sign that they were cared for, that they were not alone. The moon, too, held a special place in their hearts. Its cool, gentle light was a comfort in the darkness, a reminder that even in the deepest night, they were never truly lost. The moon's cycles mirrored the rhythms of their own lives, the waxing and waning, the constant change, and yet the eternal return. They saw the moon as a guide, a protector, a being that understood the quiet fears and hopes that filled the night. When the moon was full, they felt its power, and when it was new, they felt its absence keenly, as if a friend had gone away. But it wasn't just the sun and the moon that held such power in their minds and hearts. The earth itself was sacred, a living force that gave them everything they needed to survive. The trees that grew tall and strong were not just wood and leaves, they were ancient beings, full of wisdom and strength. The rivers that flowed through the land were not just water, they were the lifeblood of the earth, carrying with them the spirit of life itself. The mountains, standing silent and unmoving, were not just rocks, they were the bones of the earth, the pillars that held up the sky. When they planted their crops, they did so with reverence, knowing that the earth was a provider, a giver of life. They thanked the earth for its generosity, for the food it gave them, for the shelter it provided. They knew that without the earth, they were nothing, and so they treated it with the respect it deserved. They offered gifts to the earth, small tokens of their gratitude, hoping to keep its favor, to ensure that it would continue to provide for them. Storms, too, were more than just weather. When the skies darkened and the thunder rolled, they knew that the spirits were angry or restless. The rain that fell from the sky was not just water, it was the tears of the gods, or perhaps their blessing, depending on how it fell. The wind that howled through the trees was the breath of the spirits, a force that could bring life or death, depending on its mood. They watched the lightning split the sky and felt both fear and reverence, knowing that they were in the presence of a power they could not control, a power that demanded respect. Early humans did not see themselves as separate from nature. They were a part of it, woven into its fabric just as the sun, the moon, the trees, and the rivers were. They understood that their lives were tied to the rhythms of the earth, to the cycles of the seasons, to the dance of the stars. They knew that their survival depended on their relationship with the natural world, and so they treated it with the reverence it deserved. They believed that the spirits of nature were all around them, watching over them, guiding them, sometimes testing them. These spirits were not distant gods, sitting on high, removed from the lives of mortals. They were present, in the warmth of the sun, in the light of the moon, in the firmness of the earth. They were the breath of the wind, the roar of the thunder, the gentle rustle of the leaves. The spirits were everywhere, in every part of the natural world, and so every part of the natural world was sacred. These early beliefs were not about controlling nature, they were about understanding it, respecting it, living in harmony with it. They knew that they were small, that the forces of nature were vast and powerful, but they also knew that they were a part of those forces, connected to them in ways that were both mysterious and beautiful. They did not worship the natural world out of fear, but out of love, out of a deep sense of connection to something greater than themselves. In every sunrise, in every moonlit night, in every rustle of the wind and every drop of rain, they felt the presence of the divine. They saw the world not just with their eyes, but with their hearts, and what they saw filled them with awe, with wonder, with a sense of belonging. The natural world was their temple, the sun and moon their gods, the earth their mother, the wind their spirit. And in that world, they found meaning, they found connection, they found the sacred in every part of life. Long before the rise of cities and the writing of history, there were places where the earth held secrets so ancient, they seemed to echo with the whispers of the first humans who dared to dream of the divine. Hidden beneath layers of time, buried in the soil, these places remained silent for thousands of years. But when they were finally uncovered, the world could only gasp in awe. Among these ancient sites, Gobekli Tepe stands as a testament to the earliest known religious structures, a place where the very stones seemed to pulse with the memories of a time when humanity was just beginning to reach out to the gods. Imagine walking across a landscape untouched by the hands of modern civilization, where the air is thick with the weight of history. As you approach the site, the first thing that strikes you is the sheer size of the stones. These massive pillars, some weighing as much as 50 tons, were erected by people who had no metal tools, no wheels, no beasts of burden to help them. Yet, here they stand, towering over the land, arranged in circles that seemed to be gazing at the heavens. These stones were more than just rocks, they were symbols, imbued with a purpose that transcended their physical form. They were placed here by hands guided by faith, by a belief in something greater than themselves. Each stone was meticulously carved with images that spoke to the people's deepest fears and hopes. Animals, lions, snakes, vultures, were etched into the stone, not as mere decorations, but as sacred symbols, guardians of the site, perhaps, or representations of the spirits the people revered. The carvings were not just art, they were messages, connections between the earthly and the divine. The people who built Gobekli Tepe were reaching out, trying to communicate with the unseen forces they believed shaped their world. The sheer effort it took to build these structures is almost unimaginable. These were not people who lived in cities or even villages. They were hunter-gatherers, living in small, mobile groups, yet they came together to create something so monumental, so enduring, that it still stands today. This was not just a place to gather or to live, it was a place to worship, to connect with the divine. The people who built Gobekli Tepe must have believed with all their hearts that what they were doing was sacred, that the stones they were raising were not just for them, but for the gods. Gobekli Tepe was more than just a temple, it was a symbol of humanity's first steps toward religion. It was here, in places like this, that people first began to understand that they could reach out to the divine, that they could create spaces where the earthly and the heavenly could meet. These were places where the boundaries between the seen and unseen, the living and the spiritual, were thin, where one could almost feel the presence of the divine. As you stand among the stones, you can almost hear the echoes of the rituals that must have taken place here. The chants, the prayers, the offerings made to unseen gods. This was a place where people came to ask for blessings, to seek protection, to give thanks. They would have gathered here in the light of the fire, their faces flickering in the glow, their voices rising to the heavens. The air would have been thick with smoke and incense, the ground worn smooth by the feet of countless worshippers who came here seeking something greater than themselves. But Gobekli Tepe is not the only place where these ancient dreams were made manifest in stone. Across the world, in different times and places, people built similar structures, each one a reflection of their unique understanding of the divine. These structures were the first temples, the first sacred spaces where humans reached out to the gods. They were places where the mundane met the sacred, where the earth touched the sky. The discovery of these ancient sites has opened a window into the minds and hearts of our earliest ancestors. They show us that even in those early days, humans were thinking about the same things we think about today: the meaning of life, the nature of the divine, the mysteries of the universe. These ancient temples were not just places of worship, they were places of wonder, places where the mysteries of existence were pondered and celebrated. The significance of these structures cannot be overstated. They are a testament to the power of belief, to the strength of faith. They show us that even in those distant times, when life was a constant struggle for survival, people found the time, the energy, and the will to create something beautiful, something meaningful, something that connected them to the divine. These structures are a reminder that the human spirit, even in its earliest form, has always been drawn to the sacred, to the mysteries of life, to the search for meaning. As you leave Gobekli Tepe and places like it, you carry with you a sense of awe, a sense of connection to those ancient people who stood where you stand now. You can feel their presence in the stones, in the carvings, in the very air. They lived thousands of years ago, but their dreams, their hopes, their beliefs are still with us today. These ancient structures are more than just ruins, they are the physical embodiment of humanity's first steps toward understanding the divine. They are a reminder that we are all connected, across time and space, by the same questions, the same desires, the same need to find meaning in a world that is both beautiful and terrifying. In the dim light of ancient fires, early humans gathered in circles, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. They spoke not just with words, but with symbols, sacred images that held the power to connect them to something far greater than themselves. These symbols were more than mere drawings or carvings, they were vessels of meaning, filled with the hopes, fears, and beliefs of those who created them. As the flames danced, so too did the symbols, coming alive in the minds and hearts of those who beheld them. One of the earliest and most powerful symbols was the circle. Simple in its form, yet profound in its meaning, the circle represented the cycle of life, the unending passage of time, and the eternal nature of the divine. It was a symbol of unity, of wholeness, of the connection between all things. When early humans traced a circle in the dirt or carved it into stone, they were not just creating a shape, they were invoking the very essence of existence, the rhythm of the universe that pulsed through every living thing. Another ancient symbol that held deep significance was the spiral. To those who first carved it into rock or painted it on cave walls, the spiral was a representation of life's journey, a path that wound its way through the mysteries of birth, death, and rebirth. It was a symbol of the soul's progression, of the constant movement toward the divine. Each turn of the spiral brought one closer to the center, to the heart of the mystery, where the divine was thought to dwell. The spiral was a reminder that life was not a straight line, but a winding path filled with twists and turns, each one leading closer to the truth. The tree, too, was a symbol of immense power and meaning. To early humans, the tree was more than just a source of food or shelter, it was a bridge between the earth and the sky, a living connection between the physical and the spiritual. Its roots dug deep into the earth, drawing sustenance from the soil, while its branches reached toward the heavens, striving for the light. The tree was a symbol of life itself, of growth, of the endless cycle of birth, death, and renewal. When early humans gathered around a tree, they felt the presence of the divine, the life force that flowed through every part of the natural world. The sun, too, was a symbol of great importance. Every morning, as the sun rose in the east, it was seen as a powerful god, bringing light and life to the world. Its rays were a symbol of the divine presence, a reminder that the gods were always watching, always guiding. The sun was a symbol of power, of strength, of the life-giving force that sustained all things. When early humans drew the sun, they were invoking the power of the divine, calling upon the gods to bless them, to protect them, to give them life. Animals also played a crucial role in the symbolic language of early religions. The serpent, with its sinuous form and its ability to shed its skin, was a symbol of transformation, of rebirth, of the eternal cycle of life and death. It was both feared and revered, a symbol of the mysteries of the earth, of the forces that lay hidden beneath the surface. The bird, on the other hand, was a symbol of the spirit, of the soul's ability to soar above the earth, to reach the heavens, to connect with the divine. The lion, with its strength and its power, was a symbol of the gods themselves, of the forces of nature that could not be tamed, but only respected. These symbols were not just images, they were living things, filled with the power of the divine. When early humans carved them into stone or painted them on walls, they were creating a link between themselves and the gods. They were invoking the power of the symbols, calling upon the divine to be present in their lives. These symbols were a way of communicating with the gods, of expressing their deepest fears and hopes, their prayers, and their desires. But symbols were not just static images, they were also used in rituals, in the sacred acts that connected the physical and the spiritual. The circle, for example, was not just drawn, it was danced, it was walked, it was lived. Early humans would gather in circles, holding hands, moving in rhythm with the beat of the drum, their feet tracing the sacred shape in the earth. As they moved, they felt the power of the circle, the connection between all things, the unity of life. They became the circle, part of the unending cycle of existence. The spiral, too, was not just a symbol to be looked at, it was a path to be walked. In ancient rituals, people would follow the spiral, moving inward, toward the center, toward the heart of the mystery. Each step brought them closer to the divine, to the truth that lay at the center of the spiral. As they walked, they meditated on the journey of life, on the twists and turns that brought them closer to the gods. The spiral was not just a symbol, it was a journey, a way of connecting with the divine. The tree was also central to many rituals. Early humans would gather around a sacred tree, offering gifts, praying, asking for blessings. They would touch the tree, feeling the life force that flowed through it, feeling the connection between the earth and the sky, between the physical and the spiritual. The tree was a symbol of life, of growth, of the connection between all things, and in its presence, they felt the divine. The sun, too, was honored in rituals, especially at dawn and dusk, when its power was most evident. Early humans would face the rising sun, their arms outstretched, their faces lifted to the light, feeling the warmth, feeling the presence of the divine. They would sing, they would chant, they would pray, calling upon the power of the sun, asking for its blessing, its protection, its life-giving force. The sun was not just a symbol, it was a living god, a force that could be called upon, that could be worshipped. These symbols were more than just images, they were the very language of the divine. They were the way that early humans communicated with the gods, the way they expressed their deepest beliefs, their most profound truths. These symbols were a way of understanding the world, of making sense of the mysteries of life, of connecting with the divine. They were a way of bringing the gods into the world, of making the unseen seen, the unknown known. And in these symbols, early humans found a way to connect with the divine, to bring the sacred into their lives, to find meaning in a world filled with mystery. In the earliest days of humanity, when the world was vast and filled with unknowns, people looked to the skies, the rivers, the forests, and the mountains for answers. They felt the power of the storm, the warmth of the sun, the life-giving rains, and the deathly chill of winter. These forces were beyond their control, mysterious and awe-inspiring. But instead of seeing them as random or chaotic, early humans began to see something more, a presence, a will, a spirit behind these forces. And so, from the whispers of the wind and the roar of the thunder, the first gods were born. It began with a feeling, a deep, instinctual recognition that there was something more to the world around them. The sun didn't just rise, it commanded the day. The rain didn't just fall, it bestowed life. The earth didn't just sit beneath their feet, it nurtured and provided. These were not just elements of nature, they were alive, conscious, powerful. And in that recognition, early societies began to personify these forces, giving them faces, names, and stories. The gods were not distant beings in far-off realms. They were here, present in the wind that caressed their skin, in the fire that warmed their nights, and the water that quenched their thirst. The sun, that great giver of life, became one of the earliest and most revered deities. To those who lived by its light, the sun was a powerful, radiant god, rising each day to chase away the darkness. Its warmth was a blessing, its light a guide. In some cultures, the sun was seen as a mighty warrior, battling the forces of darkness each night, only to emerge victorious every morning. In others, it was a benevolent king, ruling the heavens with a steady hand, ensuring that life could flourish below. The sun god was a symbol of strength, of consistency, of the eternal power that sustained all life. But not all deities were so nurturing. The storm, with its fierce winds and lightning, was a reminder of nature's terrifying power. Thunder was not just a noise, it was the voice of an angry god, a force to be feared and respected. The storm god was wild, unpredictable, capable of both destruction and renewal. To appease this god, early humans offered sacrifices, prayed for mercy, and built altars in hopes of taming the fury that could flatten their homes and flood their fields. The storm god was a reminder that life was fragile, that nature could be both a giver and a taker, that the forces beyond their control had to be acknowledged and respected. The earth itself was seen as a mother, a nurturing goddess who provided all that was needed for life. She was the soil beneath their feet, the plants that grew in the fields, the animals that roamed the land. The earth goddess was a symbol of fertility, of abundance, of life's endless cycle. To honor her, early humans planted crops, raised animals, and celebrated the harvest with rituals and feasts. She was the provider, the sustainer, the one who gave life and took it back, only to give it again. The earth goddess was a reminder that all life was connected, that the ground they walked on was sacred, that they were part of something greater. The rivers and seas, too, became deities, their waters teeming with life, their currents powerful and unpredictable. Water was essential for survival, and so the gods of water were revered, their moods watched carefully by those who depended on them. A calm sea was a blessing, a sign that the water god was pleased. But a storm at sea was a warning, a reminder that the water god's wrath could be sudden and deadly. Fishermen, sailors, and farmers all turned to the water gods, offering gifts and prayers in hopes of safe passage, bountiful catches, and gentle rains. In these early societies, the gods were not distant figures, removed from the world of men. They were present in every aspect of life, in every natural force, in every moment of the day. They were powerful, but also relatable, with human-like traits and emotions. They could be kind or cruel, loving or wrathful, just like the people who worshipped them. This personification of natural forces allowed early humans to make sense of the world around them, to understand the forces that shaped their lives, to feel a connection to something greater. As these early gods took shape, so too did the rituals, the stories, and the myths that surrounded them. People began to gather around fires, telling tales of the sun's journey across the sky, of the storm god's battles with the earth, of the water god's moods and whims. These stories were not just entertainment, they were lessons, explanations, ways of understanding the world and their place in it. The gods became characters in a grand narrative, each with their own role to play in the drama of life. The birth of deities was a profound moment in human history, a time when people began to see the world not just as a collection of natural forces, but as a living, breathing entity filled with divine presence. The gods were a way of making sense of the mysteries of life, of giving form to the invisible, of finding comfort in the knowledge that they were not alone. In the face of the vast, unpredictable world, the gods were a source of strength, of hope, of meaning. They were the first beings to bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the human and the divine. And so, with the birth of these deities, the foundations of religion were laid. The gods became a part of daily life, a presence that could be felt in every gust of wind, in every sunrise, in every drop of rain. They were the first divine beings to be named, to be worshipped, to be loved and feared. The gods were born from the hearts and minds of the people, a reflection of their deepest hopes, their greatest fears, the need to understand the world and their place in it. In giving life to the gods, early humans gave life to their own spiritual journey, a journey that would continue to shape the course of history for millennia to come. In the quiet of night, when the stars burned bright in the heavens, ancient people would gather around flickering fires, their eyes wide with wonder. They would listen, captivated, as the elders spoke of gods and heroes, of the birth of the world, and of battles that shaped the very fabric of existence. These stories, passed down through generations, were more than just tales. They were the heartbeat of their beliefs, the very core of their understanding of the universe and their place within it. Long before science could explain the mysteries of the world, myths served as the bridge between the known and the unknown. They were the maps that guided people through the labyrinth of life, helping them make sense of the stars above, the earth beneath, and the forces that governed their lives. Myths didn't just tell what happened, they revealed why things were the way they were. They were filled with gods who could create worlds with a thought, heroes who could fight the darkness, and spirits who could guide souls beyond the veil of death. In these myths, the universe was born not from random chance, but from the deliberate acts of divine beings. The sky, the earth, the seas, each was crafted by gods with purpose and intent. In one ancient story, the sky god and the earth goddess, separated by the will of their children, created the world as we know it. The sky stretched high above, the earth lay below, and between them, life began to flourish. This myth wasn't just a story, it was a sacred truth, a way to understand the world's origin and the forces that shaped it. Myths also sought to explain the cycles of life, the seasons, the growth of crops, the birth and death of living things. One such myth tells of a goddess who descended into the underworld, causing the earth to wither in her absence. Her return marked the rebirth of life, the return of spring, the renewal of hope. This story wasn't just a tale of life and death, it was a reflection of the people's deep connection to the earth, their understanding of the cycles that governed their survival. The goddess's journey mirrored their own experiences of loss and renewal, making the myth a powerful guide through the uncertainties of life. These stories were more than just explanations, they were woven into the fabric of religious rituals and practices. When people planted their crops, they did so with prayers to the goddess of the harvest, remembering her descent and return. When the seasons changed, they told the story of her journey, finding comfort in the belief that, just as the goddess returned from the underworld, so too would the warmth and life of spring return after the cold of winter. In another ancient myth, the sun was not just a distant star but a god who rode across the sky in a chariot. Every day, he fought the forces of darkness, bringing light and life to the world. As night approached, he descended into the underworld, where he would battle again, only to rise victorious each morning. This story wasn't just a way to explain the day and night, it was a reminder of the constant struggle between light and dark, good and evil, life and death. The sun's journey became a symbol of hope and resilience, a divine promise that, no matter how dark the night, the light would always return. These myths weren't just stories to be told, they were truths to be lived. They were the foundation of religious festivals, the reason for rituals, the heart of prayers. When people gathered to celebrate the solstice, they weren't just marking the passage of time, they were honoring the sun god's victory over darkness, participating in the eternal cycle of light and life. The myths gave meaning to their actions, connected them to the divine, and bound their communities together in shared belief. Myths also played a crucial role in explaining human existence, why people were created, what their purpose was, and what happened after death. In one story, humans were shaped from clay by a god who breathed life into them. This wasn't just a story of creation, it was a profound statement about the sacredness of life, the belief that humanity was crafted by divine hands, and fused with the breath of the gods. It gave people a sense of purpose, a belief that they were not just random beings, but creations with a divine connection, a place in the grand design of the universe. Death, too, was explained through myths. The afterlife wasn't just a mystery, it was a journey, a continuation of existence beyond the mortal realm. In one tale, the soul crossed a river to reach the afterlife, guided by a divine ferryman. This wasn't just a way to describe what happens after death, it was a belief in the ongoing journey of the soul, the idea that death was not the end, but a passage to another form of existence. It offered comfort to those who grieved, a belief that their loved ones were not lost, but had simply moved on to another world, guided by the gods. The myths were also filled with heroes, beings of extraordinary strength and virtue, who overcame great trials and fought against the forces of chaos. These heroes weren't just characters in a story, they were models of how to live, examples of courage, honor, and sacrifice. In their victories, people saw the triumph of good over evil, the possibility of overcoming their own challenges, the hope that, even in the darkest of times, they too could be heroes. One such hero, who slayed a mighty serpent that threatened to destroy the world, became a symbol of the battle between order and chaos. His victory wasn't just his own, it was a victory for all, a sign that the forces of good would always prevail. This myth wasn't just a story of a hero, it was a lesson, a guide for how to live, a source of strength in times of trouble. Myths were more than just tales of gods and heroes, they were the threads that wove together the beliefs, values, and understanding of ancient peoples. They explained the universe, gave meaning to existence, and provided a framework for living. They connected the people to the divine, to each other, and to the world around them. In the myths, they found answers to life's greatest questions, comfort in the face of its mysteries, and a sense of belonging to something greater than themselves. As the fires burned low and the night deepened, the stories of gods and heroes, of creation and destruction, of life and death, filled the air. They were the heartbeat of the people's faith, the light that guided them through the darkness, the bridge that connected them to the divine. In those stories, they found not just explanations, but meaning, purpose, and hope. And as they passed these stories down through the generations, they ensured that the myths, and the truths they held, would live on, shaping the hearts and minds of all who heard them. In the earliest days, when humanity stood on the edge of understanding, there was a deep need to connect with the forces that shaped their world. Life was fragile, and the people felt vulnerable beneath the vastness of the sky, the unpredictability of the earth, and the mysteries of the unseen. To survive, to thrive, they reached out to the gods, beings who controlled the wind, the rain, the harvest, and the stars. But how could they communicate with such powerful forces? How could they show their reverence, their fear, their hopes, and their gratitude? It was in this sacred need that rituals were born. Rituals became a way for people to step into the divine, to bridge the gap between the mortal and the immortal. Each movement, each word, each offering was a message sent into the unknown, a plea for protection, for favor, for mercy. These rituals were more than actions, they were expressions of the deepest parts of the human soul, moments where the ordinary touched the extraordinary, where the human heart reached out to the divine. In the glow of the fire, beneath the endless sky, a leader would stand, eyes closed, hands raised. The people would gather around, their hearts pounding in unison, feeling the weight of the moment. The leader's voice would rise, chanting ancient words passed down through generations. These were not just words, they were the voice of the people, speaking directly to the gods, calling for their attention, their blessing. The air would thicken with the intensity of the moment, as the people poured all their hopes, fears, and dreams into the ritual, believing that the gods were listening, that the divine was near. But rituals were not just about words, they were about actions, symbolic gestures that carried meaning far beyond the physical. A circle drawn in the dirt, a fire lit at dawn, water poured into the earth, each action had a purpose, each was a key in the lock that could open the door to the divine. In these moments, the people were not just acting, they were participating in something much greater. They were aligning themselves with the rhythms of the universe, showing their willingness to honor the powers that governed their lives. And then, there were the sacrifices, offerings given in faith, in hope, and desperation. Sacrifices were the ultimate act of devotion, a way to give back to the gods who gave them everything. The first fruits of the harvest, the finest animals, the most precious possessions, these were not just gifts, they were symbols of trust, of belief, of surrender. The people believed that in giving, they would receive, that by offering something of value, they could gain the favor of the gods, protect their families, ensure the fertility of the land, and secure a future for their children. A lamb, pure and unblemished, would be brought forward, its eyes wide with innocence, unaware of the role it was about to play. The people would gather, their breaths held, as the leader spoke sacred words, asking the gods to accept this life in exchange for their blessings. The lamb, a symbol of life's purity, was a gift to the gods, a sign of the people's faith. As the sacrifice was made, the people would bow their heads, feeling the weight of the moment, the connection between the seen and the unseen, the hope that the gods would smile upon them. Sacrifices were more than just acts of giving, they were acts of appeasement, a way to calm the anger of the gods, to ward off disaster, to heal the sick, to bring rain in times of drought. When the earth cracked under the relentless sun, when the rivers ran dry, when the crops withered in the fields, the people would turn to the gods, their hearts heavy with fear. They would offer their finest, their best, hoping to turn away the anger of the gods, to bring life back to the land. In these moments, the sacrifices were not just offerings, they were lifelines, the people's last hope in a world that could be harsh and unforgiving. But not all sacrifices were of material things. Sometimes, the people offered their time, their devotion, their very lives in service to the gods. They would fast, they would dance, they would sing, they would meditate, losing themselves in the rhythm of the ritual, in the hope that their devotion would be seen, their prayers answered. These acts of self-sacrifice were a way to show the gods that they were serious, that they were willing to give everything in return for divine favor. In these moments, the people were not just asking, they were offering themselves, body and soul, to the gods. As the rituals ended, as the sacrifices were made, the people would wait, hearts pounding, eyes searching the skies for a sign, a response. And when the rains finally came, when the crops grew tall and green, when the sickness passed, they knew that the gods had heard them. They knew that their rituals, their sacrifices, had touched the divine, had moved the gods to act in their favor. In these moments, the people felt a connection to something greater, a belief that they were not alone, that their lives, their struggles, their hopes mattered to the gods. Rituals and sacrifices became the heartbeat of ancient religion, the moments where humanity touched the divine, where the mortal and the immortal met. They were the way people expressed their deepest feelings, their fears, their hopes, their gratitude. They were moments of faith, of trust, of surrender, where people reached out to the gods, believing that their actions, their offerings, their very lives had the power to influence the forces that shaped their world. In the stillness of dawn, before the first light touched the earth, ancient scribes sat hunched over delicate scrolls, their hands moving with reverence. Every stroke of their pens, every mark they made, was a prayer, a connection to something far greater than themselves. They were not just writing words, they were capturing the voice of the divine, preserving it for generations yet unborn. These texts, fragile yet enduring, carried the weight of countless prayers, the wisdom of ages, and the faith of entire civilizations. Imagine the Rig Veda, whispered in the breath of the wind, its verses woven into the fabric of the universe. The hymns, written in a language as old as time, speak of gods who dwell in the heavens, of rituals that bind humanity to the divine, and of truths that reach beyond the limits of mortal understanding. The Rig Veda is more than just a book, it is a living testament to a people's quest to understand the cosmos, to connect with the divine forces that shape their world. Each verse is a song, a cry, a conversation with the gods, carrying the hopes, fears, and dreams of a people who saw the divine in every aspect of their lives. In the dim light of ancient Egypt, deep within the stone walls of a pyramid, another text comes to life, the pyramid texts. Carved into the cold stone, these words were meant to guide the dead on their journey to the afterlife. The hieroglyphs, etched with precision and care, are more than symbols, they are a map, a guide through the darkness of death, a promise of rebirth. For the pharaohs, these texts were not just words, they were the key to eternity, a way to ensure their place among the gods. As the sun set over the Nile, the pyramid texts echoed through the ages, a voice from the past reminding us of the ancient belief in life after death, of the eternal connection between the mortal and the divine. These ancient texts were more than just records of religious practices, they were the very heart of a people's faith, the means by which their beliefs were preserved, shared, and passed down through the ages. They held the sacred knowledge of rituals, the prayers that opened the heavens, the stories that explained the mysteries of existence. Through these texts, the wisdom of the ancients was kept alive, offering guidance, comfort, and inspiration to those who came after them. The Rig Veda and the pyramid texts, though born in different lands, shared a common purpose: to connect humanity with the divine, to ensure that the sacred truths would not be lost to the sands of time. These texts were not just for the learned or the elite, they were for everyone, a means to access the divine, to understand the universe, to find one's place in the grand scheme of existence. They were the bridge between the mortal and the immortal, the temporal and the eternal. In their pages, the Rigveda speaks of the creation of the world, of the gods who shaped it, and of the rituals that keep the cosmos in balance. It is a dialogue with the divine, a way to understand the forces that govern life and death, prosperity and suffering. The hymns of the Rigveda are not just words, they are alive, pulsing with the energy of the universe, carrying the voice of the gods to the people, and the prayers of the people to the gods. The pyramid texts, on the other hand, offer a different kind of connection, a guide through the afterlife, a promise of immortality. For the pharaohs, these texts were their most precious possession, the key to their eternal life among the gods. The hieroglyphs, carefully carved into stone, are more than just symbols, they are spells, prayers, invocations that carry the soul through the trials of the afterlife, ensuring its safe passage to the world beyond. The pyramid texts are a reminder of the ancient belief in the continuity of life, the idea that death is not an end but a transition, a journey from one world to the next. These ancient texts also played a crucial role in preserving religious knowledge and practices. They were the means by which the sacred was made tangible, the divine brought into the realm of the human. Through these texts, the rituals, prayers, and beliefs of the ancients were kept alive, passed down from generation to generation. They were the guardians of a people's faith, the keepers of their most sacred truths. In the Rigveda, the hymns were not just recited, they were lived. Each verse was a guide to the rituals that connected the people to the divine, that ensured the favor of the gods, that kept the world in harmony. The Rigveda was a manual for life, a way to navigate the complexities of existence, to find one's place in the cosmos, to ensure the favor of the gods. It was a living text, constantly recited, chanted, and remembered, a way to keep the sacred alive in the hearts and minds of the people. The pyramid texts, similarly, were not just read, they were enacted. The rituals described within them were carried out with the utmost care, ensuring that the pharaohs would reach the afterlife safely. These texts were a guide, a roadmap to eternity, ensuring that the sacred knowledge of life after death was preserved and passed down through the ages. The pyramid texts were a testament to the belief in the power of words, and the ability of language to transcend time and space, to connect the mortal with the divine. As we look back on these ancient texts, we see more than just words on a page. We see the heart of a people's faith, the essence of their beliefs, the core of their existence. The Rigveda and the pyramid texts are not just relics of the past, they are living testaments to the enduring power of faith, the ability of the human spirit to connect with the divine, to seek out the truths of existence, to find meaning in the mysteries of life. In the quiet of a temple, in the shadow of a pyramid, these texts continue to speak, their words echoing through the ages, reminding us of the ancient belief in the power of the divine, the sacred connection between humanity and the cosmos, the enduring quest for understanding. The Rigveda and the pyramid texts are more than just ancient writings, they are the voice of the ancients, still whispering across the millennia, still offering guidance, wisdom, and inspiration to those who seek to understand the mysteries of the universe and the divine forces that govern it. In the quiet moments of twilight, as shadows danced on the walls of ancient temples, a figure draped in ceremonial robes stood before the gathered community. The air crackled with anticipation, and every heart beat in rhythm with the pulse of something sacred. The priest, a bridge between the mortal and the divine, prepared to call upon the gods, to speak the words that would weave the fabric of faith into the lives of the people. This was a moment filled with power, responsibility, and a deep connection to the spirit world. The role of priests and shamans emerged in a time when humans sought meaning in the chaos of life. As communities grew, so did the complexity of their spiritual needs. People turned to these leaders, who had been chosen, trained, or perhaps even called by the gods themselves. They became the guardians of sacred knowledge, the keepers of rituals that connected the people to the divine. Their influence reached far beyond the walls of the temple. They shaped the very fabric of society, guiding the hearts and minds of those who sought their wisdom. Priests held a unique power. They were seen as intermediaries, conduits through which the divine flowed into the lives of the people. When they spoke, it was as if the gods were whispering through their lips. The community gathered around them, hanging on to every word, believing that these leaders could sway the favor of the divine. In their hands lay the weight of rituals, prayers, and sacrifices, actions that could heal the sick, bring rain in times of drought, and ensure bountiful harvests. The faith of the community rested upon their shoulders, and in that faith, the priests found their strength. Shamans, too, played a crucial role, stepping beyond the boundaries of the ordinary world. They were the dreamers, the visionaries, those who could journey into the spirit realm. In the flickering light of a fire, surrounded by the warmth of their community, a shaman would enter a trance, allowing their spirit to wander the unseen paths of existence. They sought guidance from ancestors, invoked the power of nature, and interpreted the signs and symbols that danced through the ether. Their work was not just to heal the body, but to mend the very soul of the community. Through their unique connection to the spirit world, shamans became the voices of wisdom, drawing on ancient traditions to provide insight and direction. As the priest raised their hands, the murmurs of the gathered crowd faded, replaced by the sound of a single heartbeat. The air became thick with anticipation, and the world felt suspended, as if time itself held its breath. In that moment, the priest spoke the sacred words that would carry their hopes and prayers into the heavens. Each syllable was imbued with meaning, a lifeline to the divine, a plea for guidance, protection, and love. The people watched with wide eyes, their faith shining like stars in the night sky, believing that their desires would be heard. The responsibilities of these ancient leaders were profound. They were not merely conduits, they were teachers, guides, and protectors of the community's spiritual life. They led the rituals that marked the cycles of nature, the changing of the seasons, and the milestones of human existence. From birth to marriage to death, the priests and shamans were there, offering comfort, hope, and connection. They taught the young about their heritage, the stories of their ancestors, and the importance of living in harmony with the world around them. Yet with great power came great responsibility. The priest knew that the words they spoke had the ability to uplift or break the spirits of the people. A poorly performed ritual could leave the community feeling abandoned by the gods, while a well-executed one could bring joy and abundance. The shaman faced similar weighty challenges. The journeys they undertook were not just personal experiences, they held the lives of others in their hands. If a shaman returned with a message of hope, the community would flourish. If the message was one of foreboding, it could plunge the hearts of many into despair. They had to tread carefully, ensuring that their gifts were used to heal and guide, not to instill fear or uncertainty. In the quiet of their chambers, priests often reflected on the burdens they carried. They understood that their connection to the divine came with sacrifices of their own. They gave up personal comforts, spending long hours in meditation, prayer, and study, striving to maintain purity of spirit. They faced doubts, fears, and the weight of expectation from their communities. Yet through it all, they felt a deep sense of purpose, a calling that compelled them to serve. Shamans, too, understood the delicate balance of their role. Each journey into the spirit world was a leap into the unknown, a dance with the unseen forces that could shape the lives of their people. They knew that their experiences in trance could be both enlightening and dangerous. The spirits they encountered were unpredictable, and navigating those realms required immense skill and courage. Yet every time they returned, they brought back treasures of insight, weaving them into the fabric of their community's understanding of life, death, and everything in between. As the ceremonies unfolded, the bond between the priests, shamans, and their communities grew ever stronger. They were not just leaders, they were beloved figures, trusted with the most sacred aspects of life. In times of joy, they were celebrated, and in times of sorrow, they were sought for comfort and guidance. The people recognized their sacrifices, their devotion, and their unwavering commitment to the spiritual well-being of the community. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the land, the voices of priests and shamans rose in unison, a powerful chorus that echoed through the ages. Their influence shaped the hearts of those around them, guiding them on a path of faith, connection, and understanding. They became the heart of ancient religion, embodying the spirit of humanity's quest for meaning, for connection to the divine, and for a deeper understanding of life's mysteries. In their hands, the power of the sacred thrived, and through their lives, the light of the divine shone brightly, illuminating the path for all who followed. In the heart of ancient communities, where the sun rose over fertile fields and laughter echoed through humble homes, religion was the thread that wove together the fabric of society. It was not just a set of beliefs or rituals, it was the very foundation upon which lives were built, shaping the way people interacted, governed, and understood their place in the world. As villagers gathered around fires, their voices mingled in stories and prayers, binding them together in a shared sense of purpose and belonging. Religion offered answers to life's greatest questions. Why do the seasons change? What happens after death? How can we ensure a good harvest? The answers, handed down through generations, provided comfort and clarity in an unpredictable world. The sun, the moon, the rivers, they were not just natural elements, they were imbued with divine significance. Each sunrise was a reminder of renewal, each storm a call to pray for protection. This connection to the divine fostered a sense of community, as people came together to celebrate, mourn, and seek guidance in times of need. As societies grew, so did the influence of religion on law and governance. Leaders, often chosen for their divine favor or lineage, recognized the power of faith to unite and inspire. Laws were often seen as extensions of divine will, guiding the moral compass of the community. To obey the law was to honor the gods, to break it was to risk their wrath. This deep intertwining of religion and law created a structure that enforced social order while simultaneously fostering a sense of accountability. People believed that their actions had consequences beyond the earthly realm, motivating them to live in harmony with each other and the world around them. In these early societies, the role of priests and religious leaders became crucial. They were not just spiritual guides, they were advisors to rulers, shaping policies and influencing decisions. A priest's blessing could elevate a ruler's authority, while their disapproval could lead to unrest. Thus, religion and governance were inseparable, each relying on the other for strength and legitimacy. The priest's voice echoed in the halls of power, reminding leaders that their authority was derived from a higher source, one that demanded justice, compassion, and fairness. Rituals became a cornerstone of societal function, reinforcing the bonds between individuals and the community. Festivals celebrated the gods' blessings, marking the passage of time with joy and gratitude. These gatherings were more than mere entertainment, they were expressions of faith that reaffirmed social ties and collective identity. In the warmth of shared meals and laughter, people felt a sense of unity, their differences fading away as they celebrated a common belief. The rituals were filled with vibrant colors, music, and dance, enveloping everyone in an atmosphere of devotion and connection. Yet, alongside the beauty of these communal gatherings lay the darker aspects of religious influence. In societies where religion held sway, dissent could be seen as a challenge to the divine order. Those who questioned established beliefs or authority could find themselves ostracized or worse. Fear of divine punishment loomed large, creating an atmosphere where conformity was often prioritized over individual expression. The balance between faith and freedom was delicate, and while religion provided comfort and community, it could also lead to division and strife. The influence of religion extended beyond mere rituals and governance. It shaped social hierarchies, determining who held power and who served. In some cultures, certain individuals were deemed more spiritually significant than others, creating a system of privileges that could be difficult to challenge. The divine right of kings, for example, was a concept that justified authority, intertwining spirituality with political power. Those at the top of the hierarchy often claimed direct connections to the gods, positioning themselves as intermediaries between the divine and the people. However, this also opened the door for revolutionary change. Throughout history, there have been moments when the oppressed rose against their oppressors, driven by the belief that justice was not just a human construct, but a divine promise. Inspired by their faith, they sought to dismantle unjust systems, to create societies that aligned with their spiritual beliefs. Religion became a source of strength for those seeking change, a rallying cry that transcended social and economic barriers. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over ancient lands, the interplay between religion and society continued to shape the lives of countless individuals. In the hearts of the people, faith sparked hope and resilience, guiding them through trials and tribulations. The stories woven into the fabric of their existence resonated with a deeper truth, one that reminded them of their shared humanity and connection to something greater. In moments of joy and sorrow, celebration and mourning, the community came together, bound by their beliefs and shared experiences. Religion was the heartbeat of society, echoing through every action, every law, every gathering. It reminded them that they were part of a larger tapestry, woven together by faith, hope, and love. Through the laughter of children, the whispers of elders, and the fervent prayers of the faithful, the enduring legacy of religion in shaping human societies continued, transcending time and leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of generations to come. In the cradle of civilization, where rivers flowed like veins through the land, ancient peoples looked up at the sky and felt a deep connection to the mysteries beyond. The Sumerians, Egyptians, and people of the Indus Valley were not just building cities, they were creating spiritual worlds filled with gods, rituals, and stories that would shape the course of human history. Their beliefs were the heartbeat of their societies, guiding every aspect of life, from governance to daily chores, from joyous celebrations to mourning rituals. The Sumerians, among the first to establish a civilization, gazed at the heavens and saw deities in every star. They believed that the forces of nature were personified in gods who wielded great power over their lives. Enlil, the god of wind, could unleash storms, Inanna, the goddess of love and war, could bring prosperity or destruction. This belief led to a complex pantheon, with each god and goddess representing different aspects of life. People offered sacrifices, built temples, and created elaborate myths to appease these powerful beings. Their religion was not just a source of comfort, it was a vital force that helped to structure their society. In Sumer, religious beliefs were intertwined with politics. Rulers were often seen as representatives of the gods, and their authority was legitimized through divine sanction. This connection meant that the well-being of the city was directly linked to the favor of the gods. Festivals marked the changing of the seasons and the agricultural calendar, bringing the community together in celebration. These moments of unity fostered a sense of belonging, reminding people that they were part of something larger than themselves. As they danced and sang, they felt the pulse of life coursing through their veins, a sacred bond uniting them in shared devotion. To the west, the ancient Egyptians looked to the Nile, the lifeblood of their civilization, and saw the gods in the water, the sky, and the earth. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, became a symbol of hope and resurrection, teaching the Egyptians about the eternal cycle of life and death. They believed that death was not an end but a passage to another realm, where the heart would be weighed against a feather to determine one's fate. This belief in the afterlife inspired monumental tombs, elaborate rituals, and a deep reverence for the dead. The pyramids rose toward the heavens, not just as tombs but as gateways to the divine. Egyptian religion also revolved around the cycles of nature. The rising and setting of the sun became a daily reminder of the god's presence. Ra, the sun god, journeyed across the sky, bringing light and warmth to the earth. The agricultural calendar was intertwined with religious festivals, as the community gathered to give thanks for the floods that brought fertility to their lands. In these gatherings, they sang hymns, danced, and offered gifts, reinforcing their connection to one another and the divine. Each celebration was a reaffirmation of faith, a promise to honor the forces that sustained their lives. Meanwhile, in the Indus Valley, where advanced urban planning met spiritual depth, religion was a tapestry woven into daily life. The people worshipped a variety of deities, many of whom were linked to nature. Evidence suggests that they revered a mother goddess, symbolizing fertility and the nurturing aspects of life. The Indus Valley civilization placed importance on cleanliness and rituals, reflected in their sophisticated drainage systems and bathhouses. Ritual purification became a way to connect with the divine, a physical manifestation of their inner spirituality. The Indus Valley people also created seals with symbols that likely had religious significance, hinting at a belief system that was rich and complex. While much of their spiritual practices remain a mystery, the artifacts unearthed tell a story of a culture deeply in tune with the world around them. The rituals performed in homes and public spaces fostered a sense of community, reinforcing bonds among families and neighbors. In their shared devotion, they found strength, resilience, and a way to navigate the challenges of life. As these civilizations flourished, their religious beliefs contributed to the development of thought that transcended time and geography. The Sumerians laid the groundwork for written language, using cuneiform to record myths and laws that reflected their spiritual beliefs. The Egyptians developed intricate funerary texts, like the Book of the Dead, guiding souls through the afterlife. The Indus Valley civilization's emphasis on cleanliness and ritual purity hinted at a spiritual philosophy that would echo in future traditions. The impact of these ancient religions extended far beyond their time. They influenced the moral codes and legal systems of future societies, reminding humanity of the delicate balance between the divine and the earthly. Their stories of gods and goddesses, creation and destruction, would inspire generations to seek answers to life's most profound questions. As the sun set over these ancient lands, casting a golden glow on the structures that stood as testaments to their faith, the echoes of prayers and rituals reverberated through the ages. The beliefs of the Sumerians, Egyptians, and the people of the Indus Valley continue to resonate, whispering through time and reminding us of the eternal quest for meaning, connection, and understanding in an ever-changing world. In their devotion, they created a legacy of spirituality that still inspires the hearts of those who seek the sacred in everyday life. The moment of death has always stirred a profound mix of emotions in the human heart: fear, sorrow, hope. Across the ages, as civilizations arose, so too did the desire to understand what lies beyond the last breath. Early beliefs about life after death painted a vivid tapestry of hope and fear, filled with visions of what awaited on the other side. For ancient peoples, the idea of an afterlife was not just a distant thought, it was a crucial part of their everyday existence, shaping their rituals, their laws, and their relationships with the divine. In many cultures, death was viewed as a transition rather than an end. The Sumerians, for example, envisioned a shadowy underworld called Kur, where the dead would live a shadowy existence. They believed that proper burial practices and offerings were essential to ensure that the deceased would have a place in the afterlife. They placed great importance on the connection between the living and the dead, believing that the souls of the departed remained close to their families. This belief instilled a deep sense of responsibility among the living to honor their ancestors. Each grave became a sacred space, filled with memories, love, and a sense of continuity between generations. The Egyptians, on the other hand, painted a picture of an afterlife that was vibrant and filled with possibilities. They believed in a journey to the afterlife, a journey fraught with challenges and trials. Upon death, the heart of the deceased would be weighed against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul would be granted eternal life in a paradise known as the Field of Reeds, a place of abundance where loved ones could reunite. This belief inspired elaborate burial practices as the Egyptians prepared their dead for the journey ahead. They mummified their bodies, adorned them with precious items, and filled tombs with food and treasures to sustain the departed in the next life. The pyramids, monumental and awe-inspiring, stood as eternal homes for the dead, a testament to their belief in the afterlife and the reverence for those who had passed. Burial practices varied greatly among early cultures, each reflecting their beliefs about death and the afterlife. In the Indus Valley, the care taken in burial practices indicated a profound respect for the dead. Archaeological findings show that the deceased were often cremated or buried with personal items, suggesting that they were believed to need these possessions in the afterlife. The use of specific burial sites highlighted the significance of honoring the dead, marking the space as sacred ground where the living could connect with their ancestors. Each grave was a story, a memory encapsulated in earth and stone, reminding the community of their shared history and the love that persisted even after death. In other cultures, such as those of ancient China, the afterlife was seen as a continuation of life on earth. Ancestors were revered and worshipped, and offerings were made to ensure their comfort and happiness in the afterlife. Rituals were performed to maintain the bond between the living and the dead, emphasizing the belief that ancestors played a vital role in the well-being of their descendants. This connection brought comfort to the living, as they believed that their loved ones were watching over them, guiding them through life's challenges. The act of honoring the dead became a way of preserving their legacy, allowing them to continue to be a part of the family's story. As ancient peoples grappled with the concept of death, their beliefs inspired rituals filled with emotion and meaning. Funeral rites became sacred ceremonies, woven with tears and laughter, memories and prayers. Families gathered to bid farewell, sharing stories of the deceased's life, celebrating their impact on the community. These gatherings were not just about mourning, they were about remembering the love that transcended even death. The air would be filled with the scent of incense, the sound of songs echoing, as the living honored the journey of those who had gone before. Throughout these early beliefs and practices, one thread remained constant: the profound connection between the living and the dead. This connection offered hope in the face of sorrow, a reminder that love endures beyond the grave. The practices surrounding death were not just rituals, they were acts of love, a way for the living to express their enduring bond with those who had passed. Each burial, each offering, each prayer was a heartfelt gesture, a whisper of love carried on the winds of time. As time moved forward, these ancient beliefs about the afterlife shaped the foundations of later religious thought. They paved the way for new ideas about mortality, spiritual existence, and the afterlife that would resonate through history. The echoes of these early beliefs continue to influence modern cultures, reminding us of our shared humanity and the universal quest to understand what lies beyond this life. In the stillness of a graveyard, where time seems to stand still, the stories of the past linger, held in the hearts of those who remember. The essence of love, the fear of loss, and the hope for reunion all intertwine in a tapestry that tells the story of humanity's enduring connection to life, death, and what comes after. Through rituals and beliefs, early societies embraced the unknown, transforming fear into reverence and sorrow into celebration, forever shaping the way we honor those who have walked before us. From the earliest days of human existence, art has been a powerful way to express beliefs and emotions. Religion, with its profound mysteries and deep emotions, has inspired countless artists to create works that resonate through time. The sacred and the sublime intertwined, giving rise to magnificent creations that still leave us in awe today. As we look back at ancient cultures, we see how faith breathed life into art, transforming simple materials into vessels of spirituality and meaning. In the shadow of grand temples and sacred spaces, artists poured their souls into every stroke of a brush, every chisel on stone. The pyramids of Egypt rise majestically against the sky, not just as tombs, but as testimonies to the divine connection between the earthly and the celestial. Each stone was placed with intention, aligned with the stars, reflecting the belief that the pharaohs would ascend to the heavens as gods. The intricate carvings on these structures told stories of gods, creation, and the afterlife, inviting the viewer to step into a world beyond the ordinary. Walking among these ancient wonders, one can feel the echoes of prayers and the heartbeat of a civilization that poured its very essence into its art. In ancient Sumer, the ziggurats towered over the landscape, built as temples dedicated to the gods. These monumental structures were adorned with bas-reliefs that depicted deities and mythological scenes. The vibrant colors and intricate designs conveyed the Sumerians' reverence for their gods, illustrating the belief that their lives were intertwined with the divine. The art served not only as decoration but as a bridge between the human and the divine, a way to invite the gods into their daily lives. Every detail was crafted with care, reflecting the deep faith that motivated the builders and artists alike. The ancient Greeks took this sacred connection to a new level, celebrating their gods through stunning sculptures and architecture. The Parthenon, dedicated to Athena, stands as a beacon of beauty and harmony, embodying the ideals of grace and proportion. The sculptors of this time captured the essence of the divine in marble, breathing life into stone. Each statue, from the graceful curves of a goddess to the powerful stance of a hero, was a testament to the belief that the divine could be reflected in the human form. These works inspired awe and reverence, inviting worshippers to connect with the higher realms through beauty and artistry. Religious art was not limited to monumental structures, it found its way into everyday life, reflecting the beliefs of the people. In ancient India, the intricate carvings on temples showcased the stories of gods and goddesses, inviting worshippers to engage with the divine in a deeply personal way. Each figure told a story, each gesture conveying a profound message about love, devotion, and the cycle of life. These works of art were not mere representations, they were portals to the divine, allowing the viewer to experience a sense of connection and belonging. In the Americas, the ancient Maya created stunning murals and sculptures that told the tales of their gods and ancestors. These vibrant artworks were often found in temples and ceremonial spaces, serving as a visual narrative of their beliefs and traditions. The colors burst forth, capturing the spirit of the stories they depicted. As the Maya celebrated their gods through art, they forged a bond between the earthly realm and the divine, reminding their communities of the rich tapestry of their spiritual heritage. As the centuries passed, the influence of religion on art continued to evolve. The early Christians, during times of persecution, used symbols and imagery to convey their faith subtly. The fish, a simple yet powerful symbol, became a secret sign of belief in Christ. As churches were built, artists adorned the walls with frescoes and mosaics that depicted biblical scenes, inviting the faithful to reflect on the stories of their faith. These artworks were a source of inspiration and comfort, reminding worshippers of the promise of salvation and the beauty of divine love. The Renaissance brought a rebirth of classical ideals, where artists like Michelangelo and Raphael infused their work with religious themes. The Sistine Chapel, with its breathtaking ceiling painted by Michelangelo, captures the very essence of humanity's relationship with the divine. The scenes of creation, the Last Judgment, and the moments of grace reveal the depth of emotion and spirituality that art can convey. Each brushstroke speaks to the heart, inviting the viewer to ponder the mysteries of existence and the nature of faith. Throughout history, art has served as a vessel for spiritual expression, a way to connect with the divine. The beauty of religious art lies not just in its aesthetics, but in its ability to evoke profound emotions and reflections on life, death, and the afterlife. As we gaze upon these masterpieces, we can feel the passion and devotion that inspired their creation, a timeless reminder of our shared humanity and our yearning for something greater. The interplay between religion and art continues to thrive, inspiring contemporary artists to create works that reflect their beliefs and experiences. Each creation, whether it be a painting, sculpture, or installation, serves as a reminder that the sacred can be found in the everyday. The spirit of ancient artists lives on, encouraging us to seek beauty and meaning in our lives, and to celebrate the divine presence that surrounds us. In the end, the legacy of religious art is a testament to the enduring power of faith and creativity. It invites us to ponder the mysteries of existence, to feel the emotions that bind us as a community, and to celebrate the divine spark that lives within each of us. Through art, we find a way to express our hopes, dreams, and beliefs, forging connections that transcend time and space, and echoing the sentiments of those who came before us. The heart of humanity beats with a shared desire to seek understanding, connection, and meaning. This quest often finds its way into the realm of spirituality and religion. As people moved across lands, their beliefs traveled with them, weaving a rich tapestry of shared stories, practices, and hopes. The spread of religious ideas, like ripples in a pond, has transformed lives and cultures, leaving an indelible mark on the course of human history. In the bustling markets of ancient cities, traders exchanged more than just goods, they exchanged ideas and beliefs. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting the East and West, became a vibrant channel for the flow of thoughts and spirituality. As merchants journeyed from one land to another, they carried not only silk and spices, but also stories of gods, creation, and afterlife. The bustling bazaars, alive with chatter and vibrant colors, echoed with tales that stirred the hearts of those who listened. A simple conversation about a deity or a sacred ritual could spark curiosity and wonder, planting seeds of new beliefs in fertile minds. Alongside trade, conquest often played a significant role in the spread of religious ideas. As empires expanded, their rulers imposed their beliefs on conquered lands, intertwining cultures in ways that could lead to conflict, but also to rich exchanges. The Roman Empire, for example, was a melting pot of religions. As legions marched into new territories, they brought with them the pantheon of Roman gods, but they also encountered local beliefs. The syncretism of these ideas created a dynamic cultural landscape where traditions blended and evolved. The stories of the gods and their deeds traveled with soldiers and settlers, intertwining with local legends, creating a shared narrative that resonated across diverse communities. Migration, too, became a vital force in the dissemination of religious beliefs. As people moved in search of new opportunities, they carried their faith with them, sharing it with those they encountered. The Jewish diaspora, for instance, led to the establishment of communities that preserved their beliefs and traditions while also adapting to new environments. Each new home became a place where ancient practices could flourish alongside the local culture, creating a unique blend of customs that reflected the complexity of human experience. The bonds formed in these communities were often rooted in a shared sense of hope and resilience, as individuals came together to support one another in the face of uncertainty. As these exchanges of ideas unfolded, the stories of gods and spiritual practices transformed. In the crossroads of cultures, the blending of beliefs gave birth to new religious movements that spoke to the hearts of the people. In ancient Egypt, for instance, the introduction of Hellenistic influences led to a fusion of Greek and Egyptian deities, creating a rich tapestry of worship that drew followers from various backgrounds. This blending of faiths not only enriched religious practices but also fostered a sense of unity among diverse communities as they found common ground in their shared search for meaning. The power of storytelling became a vital tool in the spread of religious ideas. Oral traditions, passed down through generations, carried the essence of faith and belief from one community to another. These stories, filled with emotion and life lessons, resonated deeply with listeners, bridging the gap between cultures and igniting a sense of connection. As families gathered around fires, the tales of heroes, gods, and moral teachings wove a sense of belonging, creating bonds that transcended language and geography. Each story shared was a thread in the fabric of humanity, reminding everyone of their shared experiences and aspirations. Religious festivals and rituals also played a crucial role in fostering understanding and unity among different communities. These celebrations often attracted people from various backgrounds, creating spaces for dialogue and exchange. The vibrant colors, sounds, and flavors of these events painted a picture of cultural richness that inspired awe and reverence. Festivals provided an opportunity for people to step into each other's worlds, sharing customs, practices, and beliefs. Through laughter, music, and dance, barriers fell away, replaced by a sense of togetherness that echoed the shared quest for connection and understanding. As religious ideas spread, they often found fertile ground in unexpected places. In India, the teachings of Buddhism traveled along trade routes, touching the hearts of those who sought solace in its messages of compassion and mindfulness. This new faith blossomed, inspiring followers to embrace a path of peace and understanding. The simple yet profound teachings resonated with the human experience, allowing people from different backgrounds to find common ground in their search for truth. The journey of Buddhism from its birthplace to distant lands is a testament to the power of ideas to transcend borders, connecting souls across time and space. Yet, the spread of religious ideas was not always smooth. Conflicts arose when differing beliefs collided, leading to misunderstandings and strife. The story of humanity is marked by moments of tension, but within those challenges lies the potential for growth and transformation. Each encounter between diverse faiths presented an opportunity to learn, to ask questions, and to seek understanding. While some chose to build walls, others embraced the chance to forge bridges, recognizing the beauty in diversity and the strength found in shared humanity. In a world that often feels divided, the history of religious ideas serves as a reminder of our interconnectedness. The threads woven by trade, conquest, and migration have shaped our cultures, enriching our lives with the gifts of diverse beliefs and practices. Each story shared, each tradition embraced, contributes to the vibrant tapestry of humanity, a reminder that, despite our differences, we all share the same yearning for connection, understanding, and love. As we reflect on the journey of these beliefs, we recognize the importance of empathy and respect. In a time when the world is more connected than ever, the lessons of the past urge us to embrace diversity, to listen to the stories of others, and to find common ground. The spread of religious ideas, like the wind that carries seeds across the land, has the potential to foster understanding, compassion, and a sense of belonging among all people, reminding us that we are all part of the same beautiful human story. In the shadow of ancient temples, where the air was thick with the fragrance of incense and the sound of chanting, a profound change began to stir in the hearts of humankind. It was a time when gods were many, and people sought favor from a multitude of deities, each representing different aspects of life and nature. Yet, amidst this vibrant tapestry of belief, a new thread began to weave itself, a thread that would transform the spiritual landscape forever. The transition from polytheism to monotheism was not merely a change of gods, it was a profound shift in the way humanity understood the divine. Imagine a community standing before a grand temple, filled with statues of gods, each one vying for the attention of the faithful. There was a sense of chaos in this multitude of voices, each demanding devotion and offerings. But within this cacophony, a whisper of singularity began to emerge. This whisper spoke of a single, all-encompassing deity, one that transcended the limitations of form and multiplicity. One of the earliest glimpses of this revolutionary idea emerged in ancient Egypt with the worship of Aten. Pharaoh Akhenaten, in a bold and radical move, shifted the focus from the many gods of the Egyptian pantheon to the worship of Aten, the sun disk. This change was not just about worship, it was an invitation to view the divine as the source of all life and light. Imagine the sun rising each day, casting its golden rays over the land, nourishing the earth and all living beings. In Aten, Akhenaten saw a singular power that unified everything. As the sun illuminated the world, so too did this new belief illuminate the minds and hearts of the people. Akhenaten's devotion to Aten was not just personal, it was a call to the nation. He built a new city, Akhetaten, dedicated to this single deity, where the worship of Aten took center stage. The city, bathed in sunlight, became a vibrant hub for this new faith, attracting followers who were drawn to the promise of unity and wholeness. The very walls of the temples, adorned with scenes of the sun's rays reaching down to bless the worshippers, symbolized a direct relationship between the divine and humanity. Yet, this revolutionary idea did not come without resistance. The deeply ingrained traditions of polytheism were not easily cast aside. Many clung to the familiar, fearing the loss of their beloved gods and the rich tapestry of stories that defined their culture. The clash between the old and the new created an atmosphere of tension, leaving the faithful torn between tradition and the allure of a singular divine presence. In this struggle, we see the heart of humanity, caught between the desire for the familiar and the yearning for something greater. The story of Animism serves as a poignant reminder of how transformative ideas can challenge the status quo. While Aten worship did not endure in the long term, it laid the groundwork for a shift in perspective that would resonate through history. The idea of a single deity would eventually find fertile ground in the hearts of many cultures. In the region of Canaan, another powerful movement toward monotheism began to take shape. Among the ancient Israelites, the belief in one God emerged as a cornerstone of their identity. This was not merely a change in worship but a profound realization of a covenant, a sacred promise between the divine and the people. In the quiet moments of reflection, they experienced a sense of divine presence, guiding them through their struggles and victories. The heart of this belief echoed in the simple yet powerful commandment, "You shall have no other gods before me." As the Israelites wandered through the wilderness, the memory of their single, guiding God became a source of strength and unity. They gathered around the sacred tabernacle, feeling the weight of their covenant and the promise of a future filled with hope. This profound belief in one God shaped their laws, their culture, and their very identity. Each prayer offered, each festival celebrated, resonated with the understanding that they were not alone, they were part of a greater divine plan. The emergence of monotheism marked a turning point in human spirituality, creating a ripple effect that would resonate through generations. It was an awakening, a profound realization that the divine could be experienced not just in the multitude of gods, but in the singularity of one. This shift inspired countless individuals to seek deeper connections with the divine, to find solace in the understanding that there was a guiding presence watching over them, ready to offer love, forgiveness, and grace. As the echoes of these early monotheistic beliefs spread, they began to intertwine with other cultures, enriching the spiritual landscape even further. The ancient Persians, too, contributed to this dialogue with the teachings of Zoroastrianism, which emphasized the duality of good and evil but ultimately pointed to the existence of one supreme deity, Ahura Mazda. This melding of ideas showcased the beauty of human thought, an ongoing quest to understand the nature of the divine. In the centuries that followed, the seeds planted by these early monotheistic movements would blossom into a wide array of faiths, each offering unique insights into the nature of God and the relationship between the divine and humanity. The stories of these early believers resonate in our hearts today, reminding us of the universal longing for connection, meaning, and purpose. As we reflect on the origins of monotheism, we see not just a transition from many gods to one, but a profound journey of the human spirit. It is a story of courage and conviction, a quest for understanding that transcends cultures and time. In the depths of this journey, we find the essence of humanity itself, a desire to seek the divine, to understand our place in the universe, and to connect with something greater than ourselves. In this shared longing, we discover the heart of what it means to be human. As the sun rises on the horizon, casting a warm glow across the fields, a palpable excitement fills the air. In ancient times, this was no ordinary day. It was a time when communities gathered to celebrate life, nature, and the divine, a festival that brought joy, unity, and meaning to their existence. These ancient religious festivals were not just events on a calendar, they were sacred moments woven into the fabric of society, marking the passage of time and the cycles of life. The origins of these festivals can be traced back to humanity's earliest attempts to connect with the divine. They began as simple observances tied to the changing seasons, celebrations of harvest, rebirth, and the natural rhythms of life. In agricultural societies, the arrival of spring was met with uncontainable joy as the earth awakened from its winter slumber. The first sprouts breaking through the soil were seen as a sign of hope and renewal. Families would come together, hearts filled with gratitude, to offer thanks to the deities they believed provided for them. Imagine the vibrant scenes as people adorned themselves in colorful garments, laughter echoing through the streets. They carried baskets filled with the first fruits of the season, a testament to their hard work and devotion. As they processed to the sacred sites, their hearts raced with anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of drums, signaling the beginning of a celebration that would unite them in purpose and spirit. One of the most significant ancient festivals was the Festival of the Harvest, celebrated in various cultures across the globe. In ancient Egypt, the Festival of Shimu marked the end of the harvest season. The people would gather at the banks of the Nile, offering thanks to the god Osiris, who represented fertility and rebirth. They sang songs of gratitude and shared stories that echoed through generations, reminding them of the blessings received. It was a time when even the simplest of meals became a feast, shared among friends and family, strengthening bonds that would last a lifetime. In Mesopotamia, the festival of Akitut celebrated the new year and the renewal of life. For 12 days, the people engaged in rituals that honored the gods, including Marduk, the god of creation. The community transformed into a vibrant tapestry of color and sound, filled with parades, dances, and reenactments of mythological stories. It was a time to set aside differences, to remember their shared history, and to reaffirm their commitment to one another. In those moments, they experienced a sense of belonging that transcended the mundane challenges of everyday life. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the air became electric with anticipation. The night sky would be illuminated with firelight, as bonfires were lit to symbolize the warmth of the god's presence. People would gather around, sharing stories and laughter, their faces aglow with joy. The flames flickered and danced, casting shadows that seemed to come alive, echoing the stories of their ancestors. Rituals played a central role in these festivals, as they acted as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Offerings of food, flowers, and other tokens were presented to the gods, an expression of gratitude and reverence. As the priests led the ceremonies, the people felt a deep connection to something greater than themselves. In their hearts, they knew they were part of a grand narrative, a story of life, death, and rebirth that spanned generations. These festivals were not merely a time for individual celebration, they served as a catalyst for community bonding. People would travel from far and wide to participate, bringing with them stories, songs, and traditions that enriched the collective experience. Old grievances were often set aside, replaced by a shared sense of purpose and joy. In those fleeting moments of togetherness, barriers dissolved and love flourished. As the stars twinkled overhead, the ancient celebrations became a tapestry of emotions, a celebration of life's beauty, of love, of hope. They reminded people of their shared humanity, the struggles they overcame, and the victories they celebrated together. Each festival, each ritual, was a reminder that they were not alone. They were part of a larger story that connected them to their ancestors and future generations. Even in the face of adversity, these festivals became a source of strength. When times were tough, the community came together to celebrate their resilience, finding solace in the rituals that had endured through the ages. The act of gathering, of sharing food and stories, provided comfort and a sense of belonging. It was a reminder that they could weather any storm as long as they stood united. The impact of these ancient festivals extended far beyond the days of celebration. They shaped cultural identities, preserved traditions, and fostered a sense of belonging that resonated through generations. In every chant, every dance, and every shared meal, the essence of their ancestors lived on, guiding them through the trials of life. As the echoes of these ancient festivals linger in the pages of history, we are reminded of their significance. They were more than just celebrations, they were expressions of faith, love, and unity. They served as a testament to the human spirit's unwavering desire to connect with the divine, to find meaning in the cycles of life, and to celebrate the beauty of existence. In these moments of joy, the essence of humanity shone brightly, illuminating the path for generations to come. In the beginning, when the world was still young, people looked up at the sky with awe and wonder. The sun painted the horizon in brilliant colors, while the moon cast a gentle glow over the earth. Every storm, every star, every whisper of the wind stirred questions in their hearts. Why did the sun rise each day? What caused the rains to fall? These were not just passing thoughts, they were deep, profound inquiries that sparked the curiosity of humankind. In their quest for answers, early religions emerged, seeking to explain the mysteries of nature and existence. In ancient times, the boundaries between religion and science were not as clear as they are today. The two often danced together, intertwined in a beautiful harmony. People turned to their beliefs to make sense of the world around them. Thunder crashing in the distance was not merely a sound, it was the voice of a mighty god expressing anger or joy. The cycles of the seasons were seen as divine rituals, orchestrated by celestial beings. This deep connection between the divine and the natural world filled their lives with meaning. The ancient Egyptians, for example, revered the Nile as a sacred river. Its annual flooding brought life-giving water to the land, ensuring a bountiful harvest. To the Egyptians, the Nile was not just a body of water, it was a gift from the gods. They honored Hapi, the god of the Nile, through rituals and prayers, believing that their devotion would ensure the river's blessings. In return, they relied on the predictable patterns of the Nile's flooding to plant their crops. Their faith and observations created a foundation for early agricultural practices, marrying spirituality with the rhythms of nature. As people continued to observe the stars twinkling in the night sky, they began to weave stories around them. The ancient Mesopotamians looked to the heavens and saw gods and goddesses dancing among the constellations. They tracked the movements of celestial bodies, using them to mark the passage of time. This practice was not just a way to measure the days, it was a profound connection to the cosmos. The early astronomers were not merely scientists, they were priests, scholars, and storytellers who sought to uncover the divine order of the universe. In many cultures, myths and religious teachings provided a framework for understanding natural phenomena. The changing seasons, the cycles of the moon, and the paths of the stars were all linked to stories of creation, life, and death. These narratives offered explanations for the world around them, nurturing a sense of belonging and purpose. The sacred stories of gods battling chaos gave meaning to the struggles of human life, fostering a connection to something greater than themselves. As humanity's understanding of the natural world evolved, so did the relationship between religion and the emerging sciences. The ancient Greeks began to seek answers through observation and reasoning, laying the groundwork for philosophy and science. Thinkers like Aristotle and Archimedes pondered the mysteries of the universe, their inquiries often rooted in a desire to understand the divine. They saw the beauty of mathematics in nature, believing that understanding the patterns of the universe was akin to understanding the mind of God. However, this journey toward scientific inquiry was not without conflict. As knowledge expanded, some religious beliefs clashed with emerging scientific explanations. The earth-centered view of the universe, deeply embedded in many religious traditions, faced challenges from thinkers who proposed a heliocentric model. The struggle between faith and reason became a poignant theme, highlighting the tension that can arise when beliefs are questioned. Despite the challenges, there remained a profound respect for the natural world in many religious traditions. The act of studying nature was seen as a way to honor the Creator. Early scientists often viewed their work as a form of worship, a way to understand the divine handiwork in every leaf, every drop of rain, every star in the sky. The scientific method began to take shape, driven by a desire to uncover the truths hidden within the world. It was not just a quest for knowledge, it was a journey of reverence. Throughout history, individuals who straddled the worlds of science and religion emerged as bridges between the two realms. Figures like Galileo, who gazed through his telescope and saw the moons of Jupiter, and Isaac Newton, who unraveled the laws of motion, were driven by a deep sense of wonder. They sought to understand the universe not only for its own sake, but also as a means to better grasp the mysteries of creation. Their faith inspired their curiosity, and their discoveries illuminated the world around them. As civilizations progressed, the interplay between religion and science continued to evolve. The Renaissance sparked a renewed interest in the natural world, leading to advancements that would change humanity's understanding forever. Artists painted not just for beauty but to capture the divine in the natural landscape. Scientists documented their findings, driven by a passion to share their discoveries with the world, revealing the intricate design of creation. Even in modern times, the relationship between religion and science remains a topic of profound significance. The search for meaning continues, with questions about the universe, existence, and the divine inspiring both spiritual and scientific exploration. In the face of challenges, many find solace in the belief that the pursuit of knowledge is not at odds with faith but can coexist in a beautiful dance. As we reflect on the journey of humanity's quest for understanding, we are reminded that the connection between religion and science is a testament to our shared desire for meaning. The stories, rituals, and inquiries of our ancestors serve as a bridge, guiding us to a deeper appreciation of the mysteries of life. In the end, it is this enduring quest that unites us all, a reminder that whether we seek answers in the heavens or the earth, our hearts yearn for connection, understanding, and the wonder of existence. In the heart of ancient societies, where rituals filled the air with reverence and the voices of priests echoed in sacred spaces, women played a vital role that often goes overlooked. Their influence and contributions to early religious practices were profound, shaping the spiritual landscape in ways that still resonate today. As the sun rose and set over ancient civilizations, the stories of powerful goddesses and revered priestesses came to life, revealing a tapestry of strength, wisdom, and nurturing that defined their existence. Imagine a time when the world was alive with the rhythms of nature, and women were revered as the life-givers, the nurturers, and the keepers of sacred traditions. In many early cultures, women were not just passive participants, they were the very heart of religious life. Their connection to fertility and the cycles of the earth made them essential figures in rituals and celebrations. The earth, with its bountiful harvests and the seasons that shaped human existence, was often viewed as feminine. Women were celebrated for their ability to bring forth life, and this sacred connection to creation elevated their status within the community. In ancient Egypt, goddesses like Isis embodied the essence of motherhood, fertility, and protection. She was not only the wife of Osiris and the mother of Horus, but also a powerful deity in her own right. Women worshipped her as they sought blessings for their families and safe deliveries. Temples dedicated to Isis flourished, where priestesses played essential roles in the rituals that honored her. These women were not merely followers, they were leaders, guiding ceremonies that connected the divine to the mortal world. Their voices rose in prayer, their hands crafted offerings, and their hearts poured love into the sacred acts that strengthened the bonds between the community and the gods. In Mesopotamia, the goddess Inanna, also known as Ishtar, was celebrated for her fierce nature and multifaceted roles. She represented love, war, and fertility, embodying the complexities of womanhood. The priests and priestesses dedicated to her understood the significance of balancing strength and compassion. Women served as priestesses in temples, participating in rituals that honored Inanna's dynamic spirit. Their presence was a powerful reminder that femininity was not to be confined to gentle whispers, it could roar like thunder and rise like a fierce storm. The ancient Greeks also recognized the power of women in their religious practices. The priestess of Apollo at Delphi, known as the Pythia, held immense influence. She served as the oracle, delivering prophecies that guided kings and commoners alike. With each word she spoke, the fate of nations could change. Women like the Pythia were revered for their connection to the divine, showcasing that spiritual authority was not solely a male domain. Their voices were echoes of wisdom, guiding society through the mysteries of existence. As the world turned, the roles of women in religious practices continued to flourish. In many cultures, the goddess archetype represented various aspects of life, from the nurturing mother to the fierce warrior. The worship of goddesses transcended mere symbols, they were embodiments of the strength, resilience, and complexity of womanhood. Cultures revered these deities, offering prayers and sacrifices in hopes of receiving their blessings. Women saw themselves reflected in these divine figures, finding empowerment in the stories of their struggles, triumphs, and everlasting strength. Yet, as societies evolved, the status of women often fluctuated. In some cases, the rise of patriarchal structures diminished their roles in religious practices. The shift toward male-dominated interpretations of faith led to the marginalization of women's contributions. But even in the face of adversity, women found ways to assert their influence. They became keepers of oral traditions, passing down stories of goddesses and spiritual practices through generations. The flames of their devotion continued to burn bright, illuminating the paths of those who followed. In many ancient religions, women also played pivotal roles as healers and shamans. They held deep knowledge of herbs, remedies, and healing practices, often viewed as intermediaries between the human and spiritual realms. Their understanding of the body, nature, and the divine allowed them to perform sacred rituals that brought comfort and solace to their communities. Through their intuitive wisdom, they healed not only physical ailments but also emotional wounds, weaving a fabric of compassion and care within society. The ancient world was a canvas painted with the stories of women who left indelible marks on the fabric of religion. The echoes of their voices, the strength of their spirits, and the nurturing of their hearts shaped the beliefs and practices of their cultures. They were not just followers, they were powerful agents of change, inspiring generations to embrace the divine feminine within themselves. As we reflect on the role of women in ancient religions, we honor their contributions, resilience, and unwavering strength. Their stories remind us that spirituality is not confined to gender, it is a tapestry woven with threads of courage, wisdom, and love. In every goddess worshipped, every priestess honored, and every healer revered, we find a celebration of the sacred feminine, a powerful force that has shaped humanity's spiritual journey through time. The legacy of these women continues to inspire us, urging us to recognize the strength within ourselves and the divine that exists in all of us. In the tapestry of human history, the threads of faith and power often intertwine, creating a narrative filled with passion, struggle, and heartache. At the heart of this narrative lies a powerful conflict, the clash between religious authorities and political rulers. These conflicts shaped the very foundations of societies, leaving indelible marks on the hearts and minds of people. As we step back in time, we witness moments when the sacred and the secular collided, igniting fires that burned brightly and left scars that still echo today. Picture a time when kings and emperors ruled with absolute power, their thrones elevated high above the common people. Yet, at the same time, there were priests and priestesses, standing as intermediaries between the divine and the mortal. They wielded spiritual authority that influenced the hearts of millions. This dynamic created a tension that simmered beneath the surface as both sides sought to assert their dominance. The struggle for power unfolded in dramatic ways, often leading to devastating consequences for the people caught in the crossfire. One of the earliest examples of this conflict can be traced back to ancient Mesopotamia, where the priest-king held a unique position of authority. The rulers were believed to be chosen by the gods, their legitimacy tied to divine favor. But as time went on, the growing power of priests began to challenge the kings. Conflicts erupted over who had the final say in matters of faith and governance. In the temples, priests offered sacrifices and conducted rituals to appease the gods, their influence growing stronger. Meanwhile, kings sought to maintain control over the land and its people, leading to fierce confrontations that could shake the very foundations of society. These struggles reached a boiling point in various cultures, resulting in conflicts that rippled through generations. In ancient Egypt, for instance, the priests of Ammonius grew increasingly powerful, challenging the authority of the pharaohs. The temples became centers of immense wealth and influence, and their leaders began to see themselves as equal, if not superior, to the rulers. The tension between religious and political power escalated, culminating in conflicts that not only affected the leaders but also the people they governed. As the priests sought to protect their interests, the very essence of faith became entwined with politics, leading to battles for supremacy that could tear communities apart. In the world of ancient Rome, this conflict took on a different form. As the empire expanded, the early Christians found themselves at odds with the Roman authorities. Their faith, rooted in love and compassion, clashed with a system that valued loyalty to the state above all else. The early Christians faced persecution, their beliefs challenged by the might of Rome. Emperors like Nero used the growing tension to scapegoat Christians, igniting a wave of violence that shook the empire. As innocent lives were lost, the struggle between faith and political power became a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of belief. The impact of these conflicts reached far beyond the individuals involved. They transformed the very landscape of religious institutions. In the aftermath of power struggles, the roles of religious leaders evolved, often becoming more entrenched in political affairs. As kings sought to legitimize their reigns, they turned to the churches for support, forging alliances that blurred the lines between faith and governance. In some cases, this led to the establishment of state religions, where the authority of the church became intertwined with the state, creating a complex web of power that could be exploited. The Middle Ages witnessed some of the most dramatic conflicts between religious and secular powers. The Catholic Church emerged as a formidable force, wielding tremendous influence over kings and kingdoms. Popes held the power to excommunicate rulers, a threat that sent shivers down the spines of even the most powerful monarchs. The investiture controversy, a struggle over the appointment of bishops, illustrated the intensity of these conflicts. Kings believed they should have the right to appoint religious leaders, while the church insisted that only they could make such decisions. This clash ignited fierce battles, leading to divisions that would shape the course of history. As the dust settled from these conflicts, the legacy of power struggles left scars on society. The growth of religious institutions became both a source of strength and vulnerability. On one hand, they offered solace and hope to the people, providing a sense of community and shared belief. On the other hand, the entanglement of faith and power often led to corruption and manipulation. The very institutions that were meant to guide and nurture the spirit of humanity sometimes became tools of oppression, wielding power in ways that betrayed their founding principles. In the aftermath of these turbulent times, the resilience of faith emerged. The struggles between religious and secular powers ignited a passion for reform, sparking movements that sought to return to the essence of belief. Figures like Martin Luther challenged the corruption of the church, advocating for a faith rooted in personal connection with the divine. These movements highlighted the enduring human spirit as people sought to reclaim their faith from the grips of power. The conflicts between religious and secular powers have shaped our world in profound ways. They serve as reminders of the fragility of belief in the face of ambition, the sacrifices made for faith, and the enduring struggle for justice. The stories of those who stood against tyranny, who faced persecution for their beliefs, echo through the ages, reminding us of the strength that lies in conviction. As we reflect on these moments, we honor the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering quest for truth, even in the face of unimaginable odds. In the hearts of every culture lie the stories that bind people together. These stories, passed down through generations, form the foundation of ancient religious traditions, rich with meaning and emotion. The preservation of these practices is a testament to humanity's desire to connect with the divine and with each other. The echoes of chants, the flicker of candles, and the rhythmic beat of drums carry the weight of history, reminding us of our shared journey through time. From the dawn of humanity, before written words graced the pages of history, oral traditions were the lifeblood of cultures. Elders, revered for their wisdom, gathered the young around the fire, their voices weaving tales of creation, gods, and the spirits that roamed the earth. Each story held lessons, guiding the community in times of joy and sorrow. As they listened, children learned the values and beliefs that shaped their identities. These rituals became sacred acts, where stories were not merely told but lived, allowing the spirit of tradition to flow through every generation. In every corner of the world, ancient practices flourished, each one a unique expression of faith. The Native American tribes gathered to honor the earth through rituals that celebrated the changing seasons. They would dance and sing, their movements mirroring the rhythms of nature. These ceremonies held deep significance, forging connections with the land and their ancestors. As the sun rose and set, so did the stories of their people, alive in every rustling leaf and flowing river. In the shadows of the mighty pyramids of Egypt, the power of oral traditions was equally profound. The priests, guardians of sacred knowledge, passed down the stories of gods and pharaohs through generations. They performed elaborate rituals, invoking the presence of deities to ensure the prosperity of their land. The words of the ancients echoed through the halls of temples, a constant reminder of the divine order that governed their lives. The pyramids themselves stood as monumental testaments to this faith, solidifying the connection between the earthly and the divine. Sacred sites and relics played an equally vital role in preserving ancient religious traditions. These locations, believed to be imbued with spiritual significance, became pilgrimage destinations for countless devotees. Imagine the dusty paths trodden by thousands of feet, each step taken in reverence to the sacred. The Western Wall in Jerusalem stands as a symbol of hope and resilience, drawing people from all walks of life. The act of placing a prayer note within its ancient stones connects individuals to a long lineage of faith, each note a whisper of devotion carried by the winds of time. Relics, too, held the power to transcend the ages. In Buddhist tradition, the ashes of revered monks became sacred reminders of their teachings. These relics, housed in ornate stupas, invite followers to reflect on the impermanence of life and the pursuit of enlightenment. The presence of such relics serves to bridge the gap between past and present, allowing the teachings of ancient sages to live on in the hearts of new generations. As cultures evolved, so did the ways in which they preserved their ancient practices. Communities turned to art, music, and dance as forms of expression that echoed the past. The vibrant colors of traditional garments adorned bodies as they celebrated rituals that connected them to their heritage. The melodies of ancestral songs filled the air, their lyrics steeped in the wisdom of ages. Each performance became a living testament to the enduring spirit of tradition, a reminder that while times may change, the essence of faith remains. In the face of challenges, such as colonization or the rise of modernity, the struggle to preserve these traditions intensified. Many cultures fought to keep their practices alive, often facing ridicule or persecution. Yet, through resilience and determination, they held tightly to their roots. The power of community became a lifeline, as gatherings and rituals provided a sense of belonging and identity. In the warmth of shared experiences, ancient traditions thrived, fostering a deep connection to the past. Today, the importance of preserving ancient religious traditions is more relevant than ever. In an age where technology often distracts from the essence of life, the call to honor our roots resonates deeply. As individuals seek meaning in a fast-paced world, they turn to the rituals that ground them, allowing the wisdom of ancestors to guide their paths. The resurgence of interest in indigenous practices, spiritual ceremonies, and holistic ways of living speaks to a universal yearning for connection, purpose, and understanding. In every whisper of wind and every flicker of flame, ancient religious practices find their voice. They remind us that we are not alone in our journey. The stories we share, the rituals we honor, and the sacred sites we visit bind us together in a beautiful tapestry of faith and tradition. As we carry these legacies forward, we honor the spirits of those who walked before us, breathing life into the ancient beliefs that continue to shape our lives today. Through the preservation of these traditions, we find not just our history, but also our shared humanity, echoing through the ages. Words are powerful. They have the ability to inspire, heal, and connect people across time and space. In ancient times, as human beings sought to understand their place in the universe, their quest for meaning sparked the development of writing. Religion was at the heart of this evolution, shaping languages and creating a legacy that still resonates today. In the earliest days, before symbols were etched on clay tablets, the needs of religious practice drove the creation of writing systems. Communities needed a way to record rituals, blessings, and prayers to honor their gods. The first marks made on stone or clay were not merely letters, they were sacred expressions of belief. Imagine a priest, hands trembling with reverence, inscribing the words of a prayer meant to reach the heavens. Each stroke of the tool was a testament to faith, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. As societies grew, so did the complexity of their religious practices. The ancient Egyptians, with their intricate pantheon of gods, developed hieroglyphics, a writing system that combined pictures and symbols. These inscriptions adorned tombs, temples, and monuments, ensuring that the names of the gods and the deeds of pharaohs would be remembered for eternity. The walls of the pyramids echoed with sacred hymns, recounting the stories of creation and the afterlife. The language became a vessel for devotion, capturing the very essence of their beliefs. In Mesopotamia, the Sumerians made significant strides in writing with cuneiform. This wedge-shaped script was used not only for administrative purposes but also to document religious texts. They recorded hymns to their gods, prayers for protection, and rituals to ensure the fertility of the land. As the cuneiform tablets were baked in the heat of the sun, they solidified the connection between language and spirituality. Each clay tablet was more than just a record, it was a piece of history, a whisper of the past that transcended generations. The Hebrew Bible, one of the oldest texts in the world, showcases the profound impact of religion on language. Written in Hebrew, it became a cornerstone of Jewish identity, encapsulating their beliefs, laws, and history. The language used in these sacred texts was steeped in poetry and metaphor, creating a powerful connection between the divine and humanity. Imagine the impact of these words, spoken aloud in prayer, filling the air with hope, longing, and gratitude. The language of the Bible has shaped countless cultures, influencing literature, philosophy, and theology throughout history. As we look further into history, we see how religious needs influenced the development of the Sanskrit language in ancient India. The Vedas, sacred texts of Hinduism, were composed in this rich language, filled with hymns, rituals, and philosophical insights. Each syllable resonated with spiritual significance, as chants and prayers were recited to invoke the presence of deities. The beauty of Sanskrit lies not only in its sound, but in its ability to convey deep spiritual truths. It has become a living language, connecting people to their heritage and the divine. In the context of ancient Chinese civilization, the influence of religion on language and writing is evident in the evolution of characters used in inscriptions and scriptures. Confucian texts, with their emphasis on morality and ethics, were written in classical Chinese, creating a literary tradition that continues to shape Chinese culture. The words themselves became sacred, embodying the wisdom of the ages. The calligraphy, with its flowing strokes, transformed writing into an art form, conveying beauty alongside meaning. The early Greeks, too, were influenced by their religious practices in the development of language. Their myths and epic poetry, such as the works of Homer, were composed in a dialect of Greek that captured the essence of their gods and heroes. These texts were recited in festivals, celebrating the divine and human experience. The language was not merely a tool for communication, it was a means to connect with the gods and to express the beauty of existence. Each word was imbued with emotion, stirring the hearts of listeners and creating a sense of community. The impact of religion on language and writing extends beyond ancient texts. As cultures evolved and mingled, religious ideas traveled along trade routes, influencing languages across the globe. The spread of Islam brought Arabic language and script, allowing the Quran to be written and shared. This sacred text became a beacon of faith, its verses recited in prayer and woven into the very fabric of Arabic culture. The beauty of the language lies in its rhythm and rhyme, allowing each recitation to evoke profound emotions and connections to the divine. Even today, we witness the lasting influence of religion on language. The terminology of faith, with its prayers, blessings, and teachings, continues to shape our interactions and understanding of the world. Words have the power to heal, to inspire, and to create a sense of belonging. They connect us to our ancestors, our traditions, and the larger narrative of humanity. In every corner of the world, the impact of religion on language and writing is a reminder of our shared journey. The ancient marks on clay tablets, the sacred hymns etched in stone, and the poetic verses passed down through generations are not just remnants of the past. They are the echoes of a timeless quest for understanding, for connection, and for the divine. As we celebrate the beauty of language, we honor the profound influence of religion on our shared human experience, ensuring that the stories of our ancestors continue to resonate in our hearts today. War has always been a devastating part of human history, leaving scars that last for generations. Yet, throughout the ages, one powerful force has emerged time and again, intertwining itself with the very fabric of conflict: religion. When the cries for justice, power, or territory echo through the ages, the call of the divine often joins in, justifying actions that might otherwise seem unthinkable. In ancient times, battles were often framed in the context of divine will. Kings and leaders frequently declared that their cause was righteous, backed by the favor of the gods. Imagine a battlefield, dust swirling in the air, as warriors stand ready to fight, their hearts fueled by a belief that their actions align with heavenly purpose. To them, every sword raised was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of their faith, a tool to enact the will of the divine. The Israelites' conquests in the name of Yahweh illustrate this intertwining of faith and warfare. The book of Joshua describes how the Israelites, led by Joshua, marched into Canaan with the conviction that God had given them this land. With every city they captured, they believed they were fulfilling a sacred promise. The Battle of Jericho, with its walls collapsing after the sounding of trumpets and shouting, became a powerful tale of divine intervention. The soldiers were not merely fighting for land, they were fighting for a covenant with God, with faith binding their hearts and guiding their hands. Similarly, in ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerians and later the Babylonians invoked the names of their gods to legitimize their military endeavors. Wars were often depicted as cosmic battles between the forces of good and evil, with their gods leading them to victory. The Epic of Gilgamesh portrays not only the adventures of a king but also the divine support he seeks in facing challenges. For them, a successful battle was a reflection of divine favor, and every defeat echoed the displeasure of their gods. The ancient Greeks, too, wove religion into the fabric of their conflicts. They believed the gods played crucial roles in the outcomes of wars. Before launching into battle, generals would seek omens and conduct sacrifices, hoping to gain the approval of deities like Athena or Ares. The Trojan War, a legendary conflict fueled by divine passions, saw gods and goddesses influencing human actions and outcomes. Helen's abduction sparked a 10-year siege, showing how personal desires intertwined with the will of the gods, leading to devastation and loss on both sides. As the Romans expanded their empire, they often justified their conquests through the lens of religion. The phrase Roman peace, or Pax Romana, was used to describe the peace that followed conquest, but this peace came at a cost. The Romans believed they were carrying civilization and their gods to the lands they conquered. Temples were built, sacrifices were made, and the local populations were often coerced into adopting Roman gods. In their eyes, the expansion of the empire was not only a political move but a divine mission. The Crusades marked another significant moment in history where religion and warfare became deeply intertwined. Beginning in the late 11th century, these religious wars were fought under the banner of Christianity, with the goal of reclaiming Jerusalem and the Holy Land from Muslim control. The Pope called for these expeditions, framing them as holy battles. Knights took up arms, believing they were fighting for the glory of God, and that their sins would be forgiven in the process. The fervor of their beliefs drove them to commit acts of violence and cruelty, often against innocent civilians. The clash of swords echoed with the chants of faith, as the lines between piety and brutality blurred. In contrast, the Islamic expansion during the early centuries of Islam also showcased the role of faith in warfare. Leaders like Muhammad engaged in battles to establish the religion, believing it was a divine mandate. The early Muslim armies spread their faith through both conquest and peaceful persuasion, intertwining their religious convictions with their military goals. The call to jihad, often misunderstood, was initially about defending the faith and community rather than mere aggression. Yet, like many religiously motivated conflicts, it led to significant bloodshed and suffering. The connection between religion and warfare is not limited to ancient history. In more recent times, conflicts like the 30 Years' War in Europe, which began as a struggle between Catholic and Protestant states, demonstrate how deep-seated beliefs can fuel violence. Communities became divided, families turned against each other, and the land was soaked in blood, all in the name of faith. Throughout these conflicts, the human cost is immeasurable. Behind every battle cry and religious chant lies the pain of lost lives, shattered families, and communities torn apart. While leaders may justify their actions with divine purpose, it is the ordinary people who bear the burden of conflict, often left to grapple with the aftermath of war. Even today, the echoes of religiously motivated conflicts linger, reminding us of the profound impact of faith on humanity. As we reflect on history, we see the intertwining of belief and violence, understanding that the quest for divine approval can lead to both unity and division. The stories of ancient wars and modern struggles highlight the complexity of human nature and the power of faith, an invisible force that can inspire both love and destruction. In a world filled with uncertainty and chaos, the need for order and justice has always been a powerful force. From the dawn of civilization, humans have searched for ways to live harmoniously, to understand right from wrong, and to establish a sense of belonging within their communities. At the heart of this quest lies a profound truth: religion has shaped the moral compass of societies and laid the foundation for laws that guide human behavior. Picture a small ancient village, where families gather under the warm glow of the setting sun, sharing stories and passing down traditions. As the elders speak, their words resonate with a wisdom that goes beyond mere guidance. They offer a glimpse into the sacred laws that bind the community together. These laws, born from religious beliefs, reflect the shared values and morals of the people. They are not just rules, they embody the essence of their faith, providing a sense of purpose and direction. In ancient Mesopotamia, one of the earliest civilizations, the Code of Hammurabi stands as a monumental testament to the interplay between religion and law. Inscribed on a stone pillar, this code outlined a comprehensive set of laws, many of which were believed to be divinely inspired. As the people gazed upon that towering edifice, they felt the weight of their responsibilities to uphold justice and fairness. The law was not merely a reflection of human authority, it was a manifestation of divine order, designed to maintain harmony within society. Hammurabi's code offered guidance on matters of family, property, and trade, reflecting the moral principles ingrained in their culture. For instance, it stated that if a builder constructed a house that collapsed and caused harm, he would be held accountable. This principle of accountability resonated deeply with the people, reinforcing the idea that their actions had consequences, both in this life and the next. As civilizations evolved, so did their legal systems, often intertwined with religious beliefs. In ancient Egypt, the concept of Ma'at represented truth, balance, and order. It was not just a philosophical idea, it was a guiding principle for both personal conduct and governance. The pharaoh, seen as a divine figure, was responsible for upholding Ma'at, ensuring that justice prevailed and that the society remained in harmony with the will of the gods. The laws rooted in this belief fostered a sense of security and stability, allowing the people to thrive in a world where uncertainty lurked at every corner. Similarly, in ancient Israel, the Ten Commandments emerged as a cornerstone of moral and legal principles. These sacred laws, handed down to Moses on Mount Sinai, provided a clear framework for righteous living. The commandments urged people to honor their parents, refrain from stealing, and respect one another's rights. Each commandment echoed with the authority of the divine, guiding the hearts of the people towards compassion, integrity, and love. In times of strife, these laws became a source of hope, reminding them of the values that defined their identity as a community. As societies flourished, religious teachings began to shape the moral codes that governed everyday life. In many cultures, rituals and ceremonies provided a means of reinforcing these principles. Communities gathered to celebrate their shared beliefs, reinforcing the bonds of trust and cooperation. Whether through feasts, sacrifices, or communal prayers, the act of coming together solidified their commitment to living in accordance with their faith. However, the influence of religion on law and morality was not without its challenges. As empires expanded, the clash of beliefs often led to conflicts over which laws should prevail. The Roman Empire, with its vast reach, faced the daunting task of governing diverse cultures, each with its own set of beliefs and legal traditions. While some laws were derived from the ancient gods, others emerged from local customs. This complexity required a delicate balance between enforcing order and respecting cultural differences. In the aftermath of such conflicts, societies often found solace in the understanding that law and morality could coexist. Religious leaders emerged as mediators, guiding communities through turbulent times. They emphasized the importance of compassion, forgiveness, and reconciliation, reminding people that their shared humanity transcended individual differences. As time passed, the interplay between religion and law continued to evolve, shaping the very foundations of modern legal systems. The moral principles enshrined in religious texts laid the groundwork for concepts such as justice, equality, and human rights. These ideas transcended cultures, influencing the development of laws that aimed to protect the dignity of all individuals. Even in contemporary society, the legacy of religious laws and moral codes remains ever present. As people navigate the complexities of life, they often draw upon the teachings of their faith to guide their decisions. Whether in moments of joy or despair, the influence of these ancient beliefs serves as a reminder that the quest for justice and morality is a timeless endeavor. As we reflect on the profound impact of religion on law and morality, we uncover a tapestry woven with threads of hope, accountability, and compassion. From the ancient codes inscribed on stone to the moral principles that guide us today, the enduring power of faith continues to shape our understanding of right and wrong. In a world often marked by division, these values remind us of our shared responsibility to build a more just and compassionate society, where the light of understanding illuminates the path toward a brighter future. In the quiet corners of history, where whispers of the divine echoed through the hearts of the faithful, there emerged figures who would change the course of religious thought forever. These were the prophets and visionaries, men and women chosen to carry messages from the heavens to the earth, guiding humanity through darkness and uncertainty. Their stories are not just tales of the past, they are threads woven into the very fabric of our moral and spiritual understanding. Imagine standing on a windswept hillside, the sun dipping below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. In that moment, a solitary figure appears, his voice rising above the gentle rustle of leaves. This is a prophet, a messenger tasked with delivering the words of the divine. As he speaks, the crowd gathers, drawn in by the passion and conviction in his voice. With every word, he ignites hope in the hearts of those who feel lost and forgotten. Throughout history, Prophets have emerged in times of great need, serving as beacons of light in a world shrouded in confusion. One of the most revered figures in religious history is Moses. Born in a time of oppression, he grew up knowing the struggles of his people. When he encountered the burning bush on Mount Sinai, it was not just a moment of revelation, it was a calling. Moses became the voice of the Israelites, leading them out of slavery in Egypt toward the Promised Land. His teachings, encapsulated in the Ten Commandments, provided a moral foundation that resonated deeply with his people. The laws he delivered were not mere rules, they were divine guidance, a pathway toward a righteous life. As we journey through ancient landscapes, we meet another remarkable prophet, Muhammad. In a time of tribal conflict and social injustice, he emerged as a voice for the marginalized. His message of compassion and unity spread like wildfire, bringing hope to a society divided by hatred. The teachings of Muhammad emphasized the importance of faith, charity, and community, urging his followers to care for one another. His example inspired countless individuals to rise above their circumstances and strive for a better world. Through his life and teachings, he showed that the power of love and understanding can conquer even the deepest divisions. But prophets were not confined to one time or place. Across different cultures and civilizations, visionary figures emerged, each with their unique message. Consider the words of Buddha, who, through profound insight and meditation, sought to alleviate suffering. His teachings emphasized mindfulness and compassion, inviting people to look within themselves for enlightenment. He urged individuals to release their attachments and embrace a life of harmony and peace. In doing so, he planted the seeds of understanding that continue to flourish in the hearts of millions today. The role of prophets is not limited to delivering divine messages, they are also called to challenge the status quo. They often confront injustice, calling for change and awakening the conscience of society. Take the example of the prophet Amos, who stood against the corruption of his time. With fiery words, he denounced social inequality and injustice, reminding the powerful that true faith must be reflected in righteous actions. His voice resonated with the oppressed, inspiring them to stand up for their rights and demand justice. Throughout history, prophets have faced immense challenges. They often stood alone, their messages met with skepticism and resistance. Yet, their unwavering faith and commitment to their calling fueled their determination. They embodied the strength of conviction, reminding us that true change often comes at a cost. When faced with adversity, they turned to prayer and contemplation, drawing strength from their connection to the divine. The teachings of prophets have transcended time and culture, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who seek meaning and purpose. Their messages resonate with universal truths, speaking to the human experience in all its complexity. In a world where chaos reigns, their words continue to inspire hope and guide individuals toward a higher path. As we reflect on the legacy of prophets and visionaries, we recognize their profound impact on religious thought and moral values. They ignited flames of inspiration that lit the way for countless generations. Their teachings encourage us to be compassionate, to strive for justice, and to seek a deeper connection with the divine. The stories of these remarkable individuals remind us that, no matter how challenging the journey may be, there is always a light shining in the darkness, beckoning us to follow. Their words have become sacred texts, cherished by millions around the world. These texts are not just historical documents, they are living, breathing entities that continue to shape the hearts and minds of those who read them. In times of struggle, people turn to these teachings for guidance, finding solace in the wisdom of those who came before them. In the tapestry of human existence, prophets and visionaries stand as pillars of hope, illuminating the path toward understanding and compassion. Their voices echo through the ages, reminding us that we are all connected by a shared humanity. They challenge us to rise above our differences and embrace the values that unite us. As we navigate the complexities of our world, may we carry their teachings in our hearts, allowing their wisdom to guide us toward a brighter future, filled with love, justice, and understanding for all. Every day, as the sun rises and casts its golden light across the world, countless hearts awaken to the rhythm of faith woven into their lives. Religion is not just a distant idea or a collection of rituals, it is a living force that shapes the way people think, act, and connect with one another. From the moment they open their eyes, the influence of their beliefs wraps around them like a warm blanket, guiding their steps and filling their hearts with purpose. In many cultures, mornings begin with a sacred moment. As families gather together, they often share prayers or blessings before breakfast. This simple act transforms a meal into something extraordinary. The aroma of freshly baked bread or simmering spices fills the air, while words of gratitude resonate around the table. In this space, love flows freely, and the worries of the world seem to fade away, replaced by a sense of unity and connection to something greater. Children are taught from a young age to embrace their traditions. Imagine a little girl, her small hands clasped in prayer, her eyes sparkling with innocence and wonder. She learns the stories of her faith, hearing tales of compassion, courage, and hope. These stories become her guiding light, shaping her understanding of right and wrong. As she grows, she carries these lessons with her, infusing her daily actions with the values instilled in her by her family and community. The rhythm of life is further punctuated by religious practices that bring people together. Festivals and holy days transform ordinary moments into extraordinary celebrations. Picture a vibrant market filled with laughter and music, where families gather to prepare for a significant occasion. The sense of spices and sweets waft through the air, mingling with the sound of joyous voices. Together, they cook traditional dishes, sharing recipes that have been passed down through generations. In these moments, the bonds of family and community grow stronger, rooted in shared faith and shared experiences. As the seasons change, so do the rituals that accompany them. The harvest season is often marked by gratitude and celebration, a time to thank the divine for the abundance bestowed upon the land. Fields full of golden grains become the backdrop for lively gatherings where people dance and sing, expressing their joy and appreciation for life. It is a beautiful reminder that faith and gratitude go hand in hand, enriching the spirit and fostering a sense of belonging. But the integration of religion into daily life is not limited to grand celebrations, it seeps into the smallest of moments. Imagine a mother gently whispering a prayer as she tucks her child into bed, her voice soft and soothing. This ritual becomes a sacred time, where the worries of the day are set aside, and the warmth of love envelopes them both. In this embrace, faith becomes a source of comfort, a reminder that they are never alone. In many cultures, the importance of rituals extends to significant life events. When a couple decides to marry, the joining of two souls becomes a sacred ceremony filled with meaning. Family and friends gather, witnessing the vows exchanged in front of the divine. The air is thick with emotion, tears of joy and laughter mingling as they celebrate love. This union is not just a legal contract, it is a spiritual bond, blessed and cherished by the community. The couple steps into a new chapter of life, surrounded by the support and love of those who share their faith. Religious practices also guide individuals through moments of grief and loss. When a loved one passes away, the weight of sorrow can be overwhelming. Yet, in the midst of heartache, faith provides solace. Rituals of remembrance offer a way to honor the departed, allowing families to come together and share stories of love and laughter. Through prayer and shared memories, they find comfort in knowing that their loved ones remain a part of their lives, even in spirit. This connection transcends the physical world, weaving a thread of continuity that nourishes the soul. As the day comes to a close, many people find solace in nightly rituals. Before drifting off to sleep, they may take a moment to reflect on their day, offering thanks for the blessings they received. The quiet of the night becomes a sacred space for connection and contemplation, where worries can be released and dreams can be nurtured. In these moments, faith wraps around them like a gentle embrace, providing peace and hope for the future. The integration of religion into daily life is not just about rituals, it shapes the very fabric of society. Communities come together in shared values, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose. Schools often incorporate moral teachings rooted in religious beliefs, nurturing the next generation with wisdom and compassion. Children learn not only about their faith, but also about respect for others, understanding that love knows no boundaries. Through shared practices, families create a legacy of faith that endures through time. They pass down stories, rituals, and values that become a source of strength and guidance. Each generation adds its own layer to the tapestry of belief, ensuring that the essence of their faith remains alive and vibrant. This continuity nurtures a sense of identity, allowing individuals to draw from a well of wisdom as they navigate the complexities of life. Religion seeps into art, music, and language, enriching culture and creativity. Songs of devotion resonate through the air, lifting spirits and uniting voices in harmony. The beauty of religious art tells stories of love, sacrifice, and hope, inviting reflection and reverence. Language, too, is infused with the sacred, as prayers and blessings flow from the lips of the faithful, connecting them to a lineage that spans centuries. As the sun sets on another day, the cycle continues, weaving together moments of faith and love. Religion becomes a compass, guiding individuals through the complexities of life, reminding them of their shared humanity. It shapes their identities, nurtures their souls, and connects them to something greater than themselves. In this intricate dance of life, the integration of religion into daily existence creates a tapestry rich with meaning. Each thread tells a story of hope, love, and resilience. Through everyday activities and social customs, faith becomes a powerful force that unites hearts and inspires individuals to embrace a life filled with purpose and compassion. As the sun sets, casting a warm glow over the remnants of ancient temples and sacred sites, there's a bittersweet feeling in the air. These once thriving places of worship, filled with vibrant rituals and deep beliefs, now stand in quiet reflection of a time long past. The decline of ancient religions carries a weight of sorrow, as the threads of faith that once held communities together begin to fray. It's a story of transformation, of resilience, and of the profound ways that belief can shift and adapt. In the heart of thriving civilizations, gods and goddesses were once revered. People gathered in awe, offering sacrifices, seeking guidance, and celebrating the cycles of life. The temples buzzed with energy, filled with the sound of prayers and the smell of incense. But as time moved on, the winds of change swept through these sacred spaces. The world was changing, and the ancient ways were beginning to fade. Several factors contributed to this decline. One major force was the rise of new ideas and philosophies. As civilizations advanced, people began to question the old beliefs. The thirst for knowledge led to explorations of the universe, science, and the human experience. Great thinkers emerged, offering alternative explanations for the mysteries of life. They illuminated paths that diverged from the traditional teachings, challenging the established norms that had guided societies for centuries. The spread of new religions also played a significant role. As empires expanded and cultures collided, new beliefs began to take root in the hearts of the people. The stories of these new faiths often resonated with the common struggles of humanity, providing hope, love, and community. With open arms, many embraced these fresh teachings, drawn to the promise of a more personal connection with the divine. The allure of new spiritual narratives began to overshadow the ancient traditions that had once flourished. Conflict, too, cast a shadow over the old ways. As societies grew, power struggles emerged. Religious leaders, once revered as conduits to the divine, found themselves in the crosshairs of political ambitions. Rulers sought to consolidate power, often positioning new beliefs as tools to unite their people or to legitimize their rule. In the chaos of war and conquest, ancient practices were sometimes suppressed or eradicated altogether, leaving scars on the cultural landscape. Amidst this turmoil, the ancient religions were not entirely lost. Rather, they began to transform. Elements of old beliefs were woven into the fabric of newer faiths, creating a rich tapestry of spiritual practices. Sacred rituals and symbols that had once defined a particular religion were reimagined, allowing them to coexist with emerging belief systems. In this way, the spirit of ancient traditions persisted, though their forms may have changed. For instance, in the early days of Christianity, many pagan customs were adopted and transformed. Festivals celebrating the changing seasons were infused with new meaning, allowing communities to retain a sense of continuity with their past while embracing a new faith. This blending of traditions created a sense of familiarity that eased the transition for many, enabling them to hold on to cherished customs while navigating a shifting spiritual landscape. As the ancient religions faced decline, there was an undeniable beauty in their adaptability. The essence of faith remained, even as the structures around it evolved. The stories, symbols, and teachings that had once defined a civilization continued to resonate, albeit in new forms. The sacred spaces that once echoed with chants and offerings transformed into places of reflection and connection to the past. The decline of ancient religions was not merely a loss, it was a metamorphosis. With each change, there was an opportunity for growth and renewal. As older belief systems intermingled with the new, they gave birth to practices and philosophies that continue to influence spirituality today. In this transformation, there exists a profound lesson: faith is resilient, and it can adapt to the changing tides of human experience. As time marched on, the echoes of ancient rituals began to fade into whispers. The gods that once held dominion over the hearts of the people became distant memories, replaced by new narratives that reflected the evolving human condition. Yet, even in this transition, the legacy of those ancient beliefs lingers on. They remind us that faith is a thread that binds us together, transcending time and space. In the quiet moments of reflection, one can still feel the spirit of those ancient practices. The stories that were passed down through generations continue to inspire and guide us, reminding us of the power of belief. The lessons learned from the past shape the values we hold dear today. The journey of faith, with all its twists and turns, serves as a testament to the human experience, a testament to our search for meaning and connection. As we walk through the remnants of ancient civilizations, we honor the beauty and complexity of their beliefs. The decline and transformation of ancient religions is not just a story of loss, it's a reminder that faith is a living entity, ever evolving, adapting to the hearts and minds of those who seek it. And in this dance of change, the echoes of the past continue to inspire the present, illuminating the path for future generations. In the quiet moments when the sun dips below the horizon, casting a golden light over the world, one can almost hear the whispers of ancient voices, echoing through time. These voices belong to the oldest religions that shaped the foundation of human spirituality, guiding hearts and minds through the ages. Their influence still resonates today, woven into the very fabric of our modern faiths, creating a bridge between the past and the present. The legacy of these ancient religions is a tapestry rich with color and texture, each thread representing a belief, a ritual, or a story that has endured the test of time. The deities once worshipped, the sacred texts revered, and the practices followed have all left indelible marks on contemporary spirituality. As we navigate through the complexities of modern life, we find ourselves continually drawing from the well of wisdom that these early faiths provide. Take, for instance, the concepts of love, compassion, and community that were central to many ancient beliefs. In the heart of these religions, the idea of treating others with kindness and respect was paramount. From the teachings of the ancient Egyptians, who emphasized ma'at, truth, balance, and order, to the compassion taught by early Indian philosophies, the call to love one's neighbor and to serve others resonates deeply in today's moral frameworks. These values transcend the boundaries of time and culture, reminding us of our shared humanity and the importance of connection. Rituals, too, have left their mark. The practices that once brought people together in worship have transformed, but have not vanished. The communal gatherings, the singing of hymns, the lighting of candles, and the sharing of bread and wine can be traced back to ancient ceremonies. In modern faiths, these rituals serve to unite communities, offering a sense of belonging and a way to connect with something greater than oneself. They allow us to feel the warmth of shared belief, echoing the gatherings of our ancestors, who sought solace and strength in each other. The myths and stories that once captivated ancient minds continue to inspire contemporary spirituality. Tales of creation, of heroes and gods, offer profound insights into the human experience. They remind us of our struggles, our triumphs, and our place in the universe. For instance, the flood myths found in various cultures, from the Epic of Gilgamesh to the story of Noah's Ark, resonate with themes of renewal and rebirth. These ancient narratives inform modern understandings of life's challenges, encouraging us to seek hope and transformation in times of difficulty. Philosophical ideas that emerged from the oldest religions have also shaped contemporary thought. The quest for meaning, the exploration of the self, and the pursuit of enlightenment can be traced back to early spiritual traditions. Whether through meditation practices from Buddhism or the ethical teachings of Zoroastrianism, the exploration of consciousness and morality remains at the forefront of many spiritual paths today. These ancient ideas inspire us to look inward, to question our existence, and to seek deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. Even the symbols and images from ancient faiths continue to resonate. The lotus flower, representing purity and spiritual awakening in Hinduism, and the ankh, symbolizing life in ancient Egypt, find their way into modern art, jewelry, and spiritual practices. These symbols serve as reminders of the timeless truths that transcend cultures and epochs, connecting us to the wisdom of those who walked before us. In the realm of religious texts, the echoes of ancient wisdom still guide seekers today. Many of the oldest scriptures, from the Vedas to the Torah, contain teachings that speak to the universal human condition. They address questions of existence, morality, and the nature of the divine. In a world filled with uncertainty, these texts provide clarity and guidance, offering insights that remain relevant to the struggles and aspirations of modern individuals. As we reflect on the legacy of the oldest religions, we come to understand that spirituality is not static. It is a living, breathing entity that evolves while holding onto its roots. The ancient beliefs that shaped early civilizations are not merely relics of the past, but vibrant threads that weave through the present, influencing our thoughts, our values, and our practices. They remind us that we are part of a larger story, one that stretches back thousands of years, filled with love, loss, hope, and resilience. In the quiet moments of reflection, we can sense the heartbeat of these ancient traditions. They whisper to us through the rituals we perform, the values we uphold, and the stories we tell. The enduring influence of these oldest religions serves as a guiding light in our search for meaning, helping us navigate the complexities of life with grace and understanding. As we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, we honor their legacy by embracing the lessons they imparted. We carry their wisdom forward, ensuring that the teachings of compassion, love, and unity continue to thrive. The connection between the past and the present is not merely a historical journey, it is a celebration of our shared humanity, a testament to the power of faith that transcends time and space. In this beautiful interplay of ancient and modern, we find the courage to face the future, rooted in the profound understanding that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. In the tapestry of human history, the threads of the oldest religions weave a story filled with wonder, mystery, and profound questions. From the sacred texts of ancient civilizations to the whispered prayers of early believers, these faiths reveal the universal human quest for meaning. What is our purpose? Where do we come from? What happens when we die? These questions resonate through the ages, echoed in the beliefs and practices of ancient cultures. Take a moment to picture the early Sumerians, their lives shaped by the powerful deities they worshipped. In their eyes, the gods were not distant figures but active participants in the world around them. Anu, the god of the heavens, ruled with authority, while Enlil, the god of air and storms, was seen as a force of nature, capable of both creation and destruction. The Sumerians believed that by performing rituals and sacrifices, they could appease these gods, ensuring a bountiful harvest or protection from calamity. The connection between the divine and the earthly realm was intimate, a dance of dependence and reverence. Now, shift your gaze to ancient Egypt, where the gods walked among mortals in the form of deities like Osiris and Isis. Their beliefs were intricately tied to the cycles of nature, with the Nile River representing life itself. The Egyptians built grand temples and pyramids as monuments to their faith, believing that the afterlife was a continuation of life on earth. This belief in resurrection and eternal life reflects a deep yearning for immortality, a desire to transcend the limitations of the human experience. The rituals surrounding death and burial were elaborate, ensuring that the deceased would journey safely into the next world, where they would be judged by Osiris and reunited with loved ones. Traveling east, we encounter the Indus Valley civilization, whose religious practices remain somewhat of a mystery. Yet, the evidence suggests a profound respect for fertility, nature, and possibly a mother goddess. The figures found in seals and artifacts hint at a deep connection to the earth, illustrating the importance of agriculture and the cycles of life. Their beliefs might have echoed the understanding that human existence is intertwined with the natural world, a reflection of gratitude for the sustenance provided by the land. As we compare these ancient beliefs, we find common threads that highlight the human desire for connection, understanding, and purpose. The rituals performed, whether through sacrifices, prayers, or communal gatherings, served to strengthen bonds within the community and with the divine. Each religion had its unique deities, yet they all represented forces of nature, human emotions, and the mysteries of existence. Consider the polytheistic nature of these ancient religions, where gods and goddesses embodied various aspects of life. In contrast, the emergence of monotheism brought a shift in perspective. The worship of a single deity, as seen in early forms of Judaism, introduced a new understanding of the divine. This transition reflected a longing for unity, a desire for a personal connection with a higher power that transcended the complexities of the pantheon of gods. The teachings of prophets and visionaries emphasized ethical behavior, community, and the quest for justice, revealing a deep moral yearning within humanity. Rituals, too, reveal the heart of these ancient religions. The Sumerians engaged in elaborate ceremonies to honor their gods, believing that their participation could influence the divine will. In Egypt, the festivals celebrated the cycles of nature and the afterlife, allowing communities to come together in joyous reverence. Similarly, the Indus Valley likely celebrated seasonal changes, reflecting their reliance on agriculture and nature's rhythms. These rituals were not merely acts of devotion, but profound expressions of human emotions, hope, fear, love, and grief. As we look at the deities worshipped by these cultures, we see reflections of humanity itself. The gods were often portrayed with human-like qualities, showcasing love, jealousy, anger, and compassion. This personification allowed early believers to relate to the divine, seeing their struggles and aspirations mirrored in the stories of the gods. In essence, the deities served as guides, illustrating the complexities of life while offering comfort and understanding. Through this comparative analysis, we uncover the essence of what these ancient religions reveal about the human quest for meaning. They were born from a need to understand the world, to find answers to life's most profound questions, and to seek solace in the face of uncertainty. The rituals, beliefs, and stories crafted by these early civilizations reflect our shared experiences, our joys, sorrows, and hopes for the future. In the quiet of reflection, one can almost hear the echoes of these ancient voices, urging us to connect with our roots. Their legacies remind us that, despite the passage of time, the fundamental questions of existence remain. The threads of belief, woven through the ages, continue to guide us on our own journeys. The quest for understanding, for connection, and for purpose is not merely a historical endeavor, it is a part of our very being, a timeless pursuit that unites us across cultures and generations. As we walk the path laid by those who came before us, we carry their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs within us. The oldest religions, in all their diversity, stand as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a spirit that continues to seek, to question, and to yearn for a deeper understanding of the world and our place within it. Each belief system, each ritual, and each deity reflects not just a religion but the essence of humanity itself, illuminating the path of our shared existence. In the quiet moments of reflection, when the world slows and the heart whispers its deepest longings, we find ourselves grappling with the same questions that have echoed through the ages. What is our purpose? Is there something greater than ourselves? These questions lie at the heart of the human experience, guiding us through the labyrinth of life. They are the seeds from which religions have blossomed, nurtured by the universal quest for the divine. Throughout history, the origins of religion have intertwined with the very fabric of human existence. From the earliest cave paintings depicting rituals to the grand temples dedicated to mighty gods, each culture has sought to understand its place in the cosmos. The very act of creating a belief system speaks to our need for connection, to the world around us, to each other, and to something beyond the tangible. The gods, spirits, and forces we have worshipped are reflections of our deepest fears and highest hopes, shaped by the landscapes of our lives. In ancient Sumer, the people looked to the heavens for guidance. The celestial bodies became symbols of the divine, their movements influencing the rhythms of life on earth. The rituals performed in their honor were not mere acts of devotion, they were expressions of a longing for understanding and control over the chaos of existence. The people believed that through their worship, they could secure favor and protection from forces they could not comprehend. This desire for connection with the divine transcended borders and cultures, resonating through the ages. As we journey through the annals of history, we witness the emergence of powerful religions that shaped civilizations. Ancient Egypt offered a glimpse into the afterlife, where the soul's journey was met with both fear and hope. The elaborate burial practices and the construction of monumental structures reflected a deep yearning for immortality, an understanding that life does not end with death. This quest for continuity, for something everlasting, speaks to our inherent desire to leave a mark on the world, to be remembered, and to connect with something greater. In the Indus Valley, the reverence for nature and fertility reveals a relationship with the earth that resonates even today. The early worship of goddesses tied to agriculture and life cycles reminds us of the intricate bond between humanity and the natural world. This connection, so often overlooked in the rush of modern life, beckons us to recognize our place within the greater tapestry of existence. It calls us to honor the earth and all its gifts, fostering a spirit of gratitude and respect. As the sands of time shifted, the emergence of monotheism introduced a profound transformation in human thought. The worship of a single deity, often perceived as a source of justice, morality, and guidance, invited believers to forge a personal relationship with the divine. This shift reflected a yearning for unity in a world filled with chaos and division. Prophets emerged as voices of hope, challenging societal norms and encouraging individuals to seek a deeper understanding of their purpose. The teachings of these visionaries have reverberated through history, inspiring countless generations to strive for justice, compassion, and love. The rituals and practices of these religions have evolved, yet their core essence remains unchanged. From communal gatherings to personal moments of prayer, the act of reaching out to the divine fosters a sense of belonging. The songs sung in worship, the prayers whispered in solitude, and the acts of kindness performed in the name of faith create a sacred space where the heart can open and the spirit can soar. These moments serve as reminders of our shared humanity and the connections that bind us together. Throughout history, we have witnessed the evolution of religious thought, reflecting the changing landscapes of society. As cultures intersect and ideas spread, new belief systems emerge, often absorbing elements of older traditions. This dynamic interplay between faiths illustrates a profound truth: the search for the divine is not a destination but an ongoing journey. Each generation adds its own brushstrokes to the canvas of belief, creating a rich tapestry that honors the past while embracing the future. As we reflect on the legacy of the oldest religions, we see the enduring influence they continue to exert on contemporary spirituality. The stories of gods and goddesses, the teachings of wise prophets, and the rituals that bring communities together still resonate in our hearts. They remind us of the timeless questions that have shaped human history and continue to shape our lives today. The quest for meaning, connection, and understanding is woven into the very fabric of our being. It transcends borders, languages, and cultures, uniting us in our shared desire for something greater. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, we can find solace in the ancient wisdom that speaks to our souls. The echoes of the past remind us that, despite our differences, we are all seekers on this journey of existence. In the end, the universal quest for the divine is not just about finding answers, it is about the connections we forge along the way. It is about the love we share, the compassion we extend, and the understanding we cultivate. As we embrace our own spiritual paths, we honor the legacy of those who came before us, those who sought meaning in the stars, the earth, and the depths of their own hearts. Their stories are our stories, woven together in a shared narrative that speaks to the essence of what it means to be human. And so, As we continue this journey of exploration, we carry with us the lessons of the past, the hopes of the present, and the promise of the future. The quest for the divine is a journey we walk together, hand in hand, heart to heart, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. In this shared search for meaning, we find not only ourselves, but also each other, a beautiful, intricate tapestry of faith, love, and the eternal longing for the divine.